debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
FM, you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. The best Giants talk in the Bay is on 95.7 The Game. Reaction to every pitch.
Miller throws. He got him with the fastball. Miller's pointing at all the Reds.
Every home run.
High drive. Left field. Out of here.
And every big play.
A little slow roller. Chapman. Barehand. Got it.
It's your fix for Giants baseball.
It is a dream come true, but it's a very recent dream.
The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap.
Hello there. Welcome into the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on this fabulous Saturday, June 27th. It is absolutely gorgeous out in the city today. Happy Pride Weekend, everybody. It is Pride Weekend here in San Francisco. Seeing them setting up for the parade on Market Street tomorrow. So very exciting weekend for the city. So happy Pride to everyone there. And good morning to everyone out there on the road this morning. Good morning to Steven Risotto pressing all the buttons and whatnot. And then, of course, good morning to my co-host, Dan Devone, who buzzer beater this morning. Dan got in right before the show started.
So will Landon Rue, Brew Baker, and Ryan Walker be at that parade today? Wasting no time.
My guess is they will have a prior commitment. Luckily, they have a game that is being played at 1 o'clock, so at the same time. So that'll be fun for traffic getting out of that game tomorrow with half the city shut down for the parade festivities. I'll be honest, maybe I'm a bad local Bay Area resident. I have yet to go to a Pride parade here in the city.
I've been to a few. Yeah.
I'm sure it looks like a great time. I'm not a great go out and be in big crowds kind of guy I go to baseball games all the time. But
I was in New York for the parade, and my wife and I.
Oh, wait. Which parade?
Well, there's only one.
I know. I want you to say it, though.
The New York Knicks victory, NBA Final Championship.
We are a baseball show, and I got to hear about your parade experience to start it off.
And so we were in New York, and I thought about it, but I'm like you. That's just sort of the last thing I want to do. I'll celebrate with some friends, have some drinks, but I'm not going to be part of the unwashed masses and stand on top of like a street sign to see Jalen Bronson or JB go by in a float. So, but
see Zoran too.
So many people there.
Oh, I bet.
That we had a flight at about 7 o'clock that night, so getting out of New York was sort of horrific, but we were able to do it. And so here I am. Let's go, man. Let's rip into them G-men.
No, that's awesome. You were able to be there for that parade. It must be great. I mean, I remember when I went to the first parade in 2010 when the Giants won, and we actually found a bus stop that we could climb on top of. One of those bus stops with the wavy little yellow roofs.
That's not necessarily the most secure thing you could do.
No, not really. But I mean, there's a level of people that were allowed to come up on. At some point, a couple people started climbing up. Or like, yeah, I think you're going to be one too many. Why don't you stay down there? But
so this is like the last boat out of Saigon. You were kicking people off.
Kind of one of those things. I mean, there's lots of other bus stops for people to climb up. I don't know. Again, I just felt like one of the coolest things you can do in a parade is climb a tree or climb a pole or climb on a bus stop.
Yeah,
and
makes for a good photo op.
It does. It was a really fun time. And so any chance you have to go to see your team win a championship, absolutely take that opportunity because you never know how many you're going to get. I mean, obviously I got a lot more afterwards with a couple with the Warriors. So I'm very spoiled and fortunate in that sense. But it's awesome that you were able to get that one.
Yeah, no, it was the city was electric with basketball. Unfortunately, when you talk about the Mets out there, because for whatever reason, there's a strong correlation with the Knicks and the Mets and the
same
Jets.
Colors.
The Jets and the Mets, for whatever reason, live in the same misery. It's the same sort of fans that like the Jets, also like the Mets.
Well, you bring up
pockets in New York.
You bring up the Mets. They fired their manager yesterday, Carlos Mendoza. The Mets, who, I mean, for as much of a miserable season that the Giants are having with all the money they've spent, the Mets are having just as equal a miserable season. But they spent more money on their roster, and they have an experienced manager who's done this before, who's been in the game before. and things went south for them. So the news broke during the morning roast yesterday. Mets fire Carlos Mendoza. And I don't know if you saw the clip that was going around yesterday. I don't know if it was MLB Network or SNY that was reporting on the Mendoza firing. And this guy, maybe Risotto, it doesn't really matter.
Steve Gelb.
Steve Gelb, okay.
Of SNY.
There you go. So was SNY. He knows what's up. He's doing a stand-up shot talking about it. And then who comes into the shot but Mr. Met waltzes into the frame and starts dancing behind Steve Gelb.
Having no idea the
just
context.
So the Mets, they fired their manager, Carlos Mendoza. They just decided it was time to move on. Meanwhile, Mr. Met's like standing behind him, flexing and dancing. It's just like, oh, if that is not the most Mets thing you'll ever see, just wait a few minutes. I'm sure you'll get another very Mets thing. So shout out New York Kenny. You know, you can't have everything nice.
Well, it might be a good kicking off point because if Mendy gets the pink slip, Vitello, obviously two entirely different sort of scenarios.
We can definitely get into that. What a week for the Giants. Again, welcome into the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Sam Lum, Dan Devone, 888-957-9570 is the number to call or text in. We take any and all Giants takes on this show.
Before we get going, will there be a Ruderman appearance today?
I told him he is to call in. I told him the call I want him to recreate this week is when Rafi Devers waved his finger at Tony Vitello last Sunday. So
right, the call of the week brought to you
by Steven Ruderman. So, what a week for the Giants, though, Dan. Obviously, you missed the show last week because you were in New York celebrating. We had Carter Chickering in last Saturday. And since the last show, we had they got swept by the Marlins in Miami. Gabe Kapler probably popped a bottle of his finest whiskey to celebrate that one. You had Rafi Gate when he reaches first base, tells no, I don't want Jonah Cox to come in and pinch run for me. You had the off day on Monday. You had one of the all-time most awkward and uncomfortable press scrums that I have ever been a part of, Dan. I don't know if you've ever been a part of awkward press scrums. I'd like to hear some of your stories at some point this show. On Tuesday with Buster Posey, and just not a great showing. Up there with Jim Tomsula's intro presser or Al Davis with the overhead projector in terms of just very bizarre, not fun press availabilities. They did take 2 of 3 from the A's. They do win the season series in the the Highway 80 series. I don't think there's a trophy for that anymore. Then on Thursday, you have an epic bullpen meltdown. Gave up a touchdown in those last 3 innings, as Tony Vitello said. And then last night, Braves come to town and they just stymie the Giants last night in a bullpen game. Reynaldo Lopez goes the first 3 innings for the Braves, and the Braves bullpen, which is a very good unit, closes things out the rest of the way. Braves beat the Giants 3-1. Trevor McDonald, 5 1/3 innings, gives up 3 runs. Didn't really hate how he pitched last night, Dan, but it's just every time he goes out there, you're probably good to get 5-ish innings, 3-ish runs, and it's on the offense to make do with that. And they went 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They had chances last night, Dan. They just refused to cash in on them.
Yeah, and if you're not going to hit against the bullpen in an opener game, good luck against Elder and Sale, right?
Yeah, Bryce Elder. Is it Chris Sale tomorrow?
I think it's Sale tomorrow.
But it's Bryce Elder today. And Bryce Elder, he's on my fantasy team, so this is going to be a conflicted night for me today.
Was it bottom of the 7th, 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. You got Casey Schmidt, Arise, Eldridge, and Schmidt. Mm-hmm. In that order coming to the plate, and they get nada. So
no, you had a lot of chances. Well, first you had the first inning. Arias gets that double off the wall, off the number 3 archway out there in right center field, and that I thought that was gone at first when he hit it. Bounces off the wall. He's on second, but then the next step, or a couple of batters later, I think it was the next at bat. Bryce Eldridge hits a grounder to short, and it's ironic that Mauricio Dubon was in the building for that play there, Dan. Grounder to short, ball's in front of you. Arias still tries to go to third base, gets thrown out by a mile, and I bring up Mauricio Dubon because, holy hell, I think it was like at least once a week Mauricio Dubon would make a mistake like that on the base paths there. The second inning, you got the Willy Adames leadoff single. He gets doubled off when Chapman lines out after that. In the 5th inning, you had the bases loaded. Bryce Eldridge comes up. He strikes out. Casey Schmidt comes out. First pitch, grounder to short. That ends the inning. 3rd inning, you had another opportunity. The 7th inning, as you just mentioned, get your first 2 batters on. Arias bunts them over. You're thinking, all right, 2nd and 3rd, your big bopper's up, and he ends up popping up, end of that threat. 8th inning, you got Willy Adames on with a double with 2 outs. Chapman strikes out on 3 pitches. The opportunities were there yesterday, Dan, and for a team that's hitting pretty well this year, just didn't hit well last night.
Second in the National League in batting average, believe it or not. First in hits. So, I mean, yeah, they're
first in doubles.
First in doubles was sort of odd. I think Devers has a lot to do with that. But this is just not a very good team when you think about it collectively, right? And I'm beginning to think, if we can get into this, one of the things that I think has been because it's been a head scratch all year long. What's wrong with this team? What's wrong with this team? You look at it on paper, they should be so much better than they are. And oftentimes what that means is maybe there's some sort of internal strife, which is something I didn't even consider because I always told you and everybody else that would listen that I like this team. I love watching Jung-Hoo Lee and Devers and all these guys take their at-bats. They're colorful. There's some personality, but maybe lying below all of this, and we're beginning to see some of it surface with the 3 bozos and the scripture on their hat and pride and that entire debacle. And then, of course, Devers. And now I'm beginning to see, well, maybe something splintered. Maybe because this happens in sports. It's the complete opposite of what happened in 2010. Remember 2010?
It was so harmonious. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, why is this team winning? Well, it's because they've got the culture has been cultivated properly in that locker room. And I'm a strong believer that translates to wins and losses.
Absolutely.
But the opposite is also true. And that could be applicable to this year's team.
Even a more recent example, Dan, was in 2021. We did a lot of those Sunday afternoon shows together during that season. You know, I was producing. You were on air with Shamari Block. Shout out Shamari. I hope he's doing well wherever he's at these days.
Driving that BART train.
Oh, he's a BART operator now?
Oh, yeah, he is.
Oh, wow. That sounds fun. I would love to be a BART train operator. Get paid a bunch of money to press the stop and start button.
I talked to him. Thank you. I talked to him from time to time. He's like, Dan, it's a lot of track I look at for hours.
Oh, okay. Well, again, maybe the grass is not always so greener on the other side. But I remember one, this might have been actually when I had her on with, who was it? I think we had Joan Ryan on, and she talked about just kind of the culture in that clubhouse. And I think she's the one who got the quote from Brandon Belt this year. I'm like, why is this team so good? And Belt's like, there's no dicks on this team. We can say that on air, right?
Oh, we just did.
Yeah, it's a great time to say it.
All right.
This year's team, I'm not saying that there's bad guys in this clubhouse. I'm not saying that. But you bring up the internal strife, Dan, and the signs of what that looks like. An inconsistent team that can't generate momentum, I feel like that's the sign of something going on behind the scenes. I asked Buster about this on Tuesday after all the other questions got asked. I just asked, like, Buster, you've yet to have a 4-game winning streak this year. Like, why do you think that is? And he pointed at the bullpen being an issue, which, yeah, that is part of it. Part of it, though, is also, I do wonder how much this team has been able to click behind the scenes. I do think these guys get along with each other. I don't see anything that suggests there's like factions in the clubhouse of these guys versus those guys or anything like that. But the reality is when you see how just not smooth this operation is on the field, it's very fair to wonder what is actually going on behind closed doors when no one is around to see what's going on.
Well, here, for example, when you have 3 pitchers that did what it is that they did on Pride Night and on their Pride hats, that to me suggests that there's got to be a big swath of players, a contingent of players we'll never know, and this may not be true, that disagree with that or don't necessarily fall in line with this religious Reich or whatever this sect is of that clubhouse. And then when you see Devers do what it is that he did, and when that bubbles to the surface, you can't tell me that there are players on that team that were rolling their eyes like, can you believe this guy? And so when you have sort of divisions like that, and you're not all, quote unquote, pulling on the same rope, that's when things get a little right. And so to me, it makes a lot of sense because when you're sitting here scratching your head, like, what's wrong with this damn team? Look at them on the roster. Granted, they shouldn't be challenging the Dodgers, but should be a lot better than this. Well, more often than not, if you dig behind the layers enough, that you'll find out that there's some disharmony in that locker room that's a direct result of this team not achieving their ultimate goal, which is to play much better than this.
Yeah, that is very well said there, Dan. Again, we are coming to you live from the Laughing Monk Studios, Laughing Monk Righteously Brewed in San Francisco. And a lot of that, again, I think is a product of what's really disheartening about this week, Dan, is just, for me, was the amount of negative headlines this team keeps finding itself in. And we had Larry Baer went on local radio the other day. He tried to quell things a little bit.
2 weeks too late.
Well, that's the other thing. He even admitted, he said that they've learned a lot in these last 11 days. Here, I got the quote here. Basically basically, we've learned a lot in the last 11 days. Yes, we could have handled things better this year for sure. And that was, again, regarding just the whole how the Giants have responded to things since Pride Night 2 weeks ago now. And I will say,
can I cut you off? Did he address the pitchers? Did he say anything about?
No, he just basically
directly
reaffirmed the organization's commitment to the LGBTQ community. And I think, Dan, that's what's been so jarring through all of this is for the last 30 plus years, for as long as I've been alive, this organization has been so committed to this city, to this community, to the LGBTQ community. They were the first organization to do Until There's a Cure Day. I remember going to those games all the time, how emotional those games were in spreading awareness for the HIV/AIDS virus, and kind of trying to remove the stigma that was once attached to that virus when it first entered public knowledge there. I remember they were the first organization to get involved with the It Gets Better campaign. In fact, Barry Zito was, I think, one of the first players to get involved with that, which is about reaching out to the LGBTQ youth who were being bullied for their sexuality to tell them, it does get better, because there was a large spike in teenage suicides amongst the LGBTQ community. And the Giants were very quick to get involved in that, just to turn the tide on that. Even that Friday night, they had vow renewal ceremonies, marriage vows, on the field before the game, which I never see the Giants do. I've never seen them do that. Maybe they have, I just missed it. But I thought that was a really cool touch to Pride Night of this organization embracing the community. We're going to bring down same-sex couples and have them renew their marriage vows on the field. Like, how awesome and special is that? And then all of a sudden, like, it feels like the team is kind of going back on that commitment they've had to the community over the last couple weeks. And that's what's been so, I think, jarring as a Giants fan, is an organization that's been so good at handling these kind of headlines has really just dropped the ball on doing that. And I'm going on a long diatribe here, Dan, but this is an organization that's just set such a standard for themselves in terms of how they interact with the community, how they interact with crises. And they've really just fallen short of a standard they've set for themselves, a standard that fans hold them to, a standard that I, as a fan, hold them to. The way that they've just been unable to get ahead of this story, they've let the narrative really control itself rather than them trying to control the narrative. It's been really difficult to watch. I usually expect better leadership from this organization, not just when it comes to Pride Night, any sort of controversy that this team gets involved with. They just have not met the moment on this one. It's been very disheartening, unfortunately.
Yeah, you don't even have to talk about the issues, and you're right about what it is you just said, but very progressive, and even hiring Alyssa Nakin, getting out in front of all of these things of being a team that is reflective of the city in which they play. And that's really with the heart of all of this, for crying out loud. This is San Francisco. Somebody has to step up, and I think leadership is the key. That's the operative word. And right now, they're operating without a leader. We thought it was Buster Posey. He is not. For example, can you just imagine, and I go after Steve Kerr from time to time, but if this happened with the Golden State Warriors, I guarantee you, whether it was having to do with Pride Night and or whatever the equivalent might have been with Rafi Devers and a player for that of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr wouldn't have to wait for Dunleavy or the president of baseball ops, would have had a press conference and would have squashed it right then. Another perfect example, Pat Murphy. Do you remember Pat Murphy earlier this year?
Manager of the Brewers.
Manager, and it was it Alfred Uribe with the crotch chop?
Yeah, Abner Uribe.
And then
he came out and shut that down right away.
He said, that's embarrassing. That's not how we operate. I'm paraphrasing here, but that is not what we do here. That is, and immediately let everybody know what the Milwaukee Brewers stand for. Meanwhile, I don't know what this mess is doing, but Buster Posey, that was embarrassing. And I'm not putting this on you, but when somebody needed to say was, hey, listen, I know you don't want to talk about, but as the face of the franchise in the city of San Francisco, as progressive as we are, don't you feel it as an obligation that you have to say something about something that has, granted, it has to do with baseball, but it certainly has to do with your baseball team and the community, which, by the way, supports all of this. And I don't need to remind you that you have basically an obligation to talk about it.
Yeah, to your community. And that It's not just the statement that they issued the next day,
weak.
Dan, and it was. And again, I don't really want to make this about the merits of Pride Night or not. I mean, I personally, Dan, I do believe that baseball is an inclusive sport. If you love this sport, there is a place for you in it. That's why I'm repping my Pride sweatshirt today. The Giants gave out a couple years ago. I want to show my support. I don't want to just make this about who believes what on the Giants or anything like that. I don't want to go down that road. But when it comes to just handling a situation, this situation just happens to involve Pride Night. That is where I do kind of point at the Giants and be like, this is beneath the standard that you guys have set. This is beneath how you should be handling it. Sending Buster out there 10 days after the fact, I don't know why Buster really went out there on Tuesday, especially in the part that blew my mind away was that he goes out there. I mean, when they announced that he was going to be talking at 2:00 that day, that got everyone's heads turning, and there was a bunch of media down there. It was probably one of the most packed presser scrums I've ever seen in that dugout. The only one that comes close was the Farhan one at the end of 2023 when Gabe Kapler got fired, and then there was a Tony Vitello one an hour and a half later when Tony basically got peppered with the same questions about Rafi Devers that Buster Posey did. But what really kind of threw me off was not just Buster's statement on Pride Night and then the refusal to take questions afterwards. That's its own thing. But the other thing was the baseball aspect of it. Buster said, I want to answer baseball questions only. I assume then if he really just wanted to make it about baseball, then you were coming out to talk about what happened with Rafi Devers and him, waving off Tony Vitello to not come in and not have Jonah Cox come in and pinch run for him. That I understand. But then he's like, yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk with Rafi yet. And that's what blew me away. Like, why are you coming out here to address this when you haven't even addressed him? You could say that you've talked to Tony about it, but unless you've addressed the player about it, why are you coming out here to address what a player did when you have yet to have a conversation with said player? That's the part that blew me away. Just how do you skip that step? At that point, don't even come out and talk to us. Talk to Rafi first. Then get your story straight on what's going on with Rafi, then come out and talk to the media. But when you come out and be like, I haven't talked to him, I don't have good answers for you, then what are we doing here, Buster? That was my frustration with that whole day. He should not have been out there. I do not think this is a situation that he should have been out there to handle. This should have been a Larry Baer situation from day one.
Well, he is the face of the franchise, and that's the adjustment that he has to make. He has to realize that that's his role. And as being the face of San Francisco Giants, that this is part of what it is that you are required to do. And let me just take it a step further, because I know we don't want to go down to religious preferences. I'm with you there. But stay with me here. Maybe, because he's, a Christian Baptist from the South, grew up in Georgia. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's aligned with those pitchers that had the scripture on their hat. And by the way, it's so damn passive-aggressive. If you're homophobic, whatever it is, just come out and say it. Don't give me these riddles where I got to hold it up to a mirror. Ooh, what is it that you're trying to say? Have the onions to stand by your convictions. But maybe he's aligned with those guys. Now, look, I could be completely off.
Yeah, I don't want to make assumptions.
Here's the point.
Yeah.
When you don't address it, Sam, you leave that door ajar.
Mm-hmm. You let the narrative start to control itself.
Exactly.
And
I'm probably with you. He probably doesn't feel that way, but I'm beginning to think if you don't talk about it, I can arrive at my own conclusions.
Mm-hmm. And that's the worst situation.
These guys,
yeah.
Because that's exactly how you feel from this point going forward. Mm-hmm. And so everything that you laid out about how this organization has been out in front of these issues for so many years, maybe that's all changing now. And then we have a much more conservative approach beginning with Buster Posey. Again, that can be completely off base, but if you don't provide me with an answer, I'll provide my own.
And especially when, and this is what makes this even more frustrating for me as a Giants fan to watch this, is just how this has been, because everything in the world sucks right now because of politics. To see both sides of the ideological aisle seize on this in a way to try and showcase their own beliefs, and I'm going to point at both sides on this one. You got the one side, they're grabbing it and saying the players are insensitive to the community. They hate this, they hate that. And kind of to your point, Dan, they're drawing their own conclusions. Then you got the other side seizing it. MLB is hating Christians and hating this, hating that. You got Josh Hawley writing letter after letter to Rob Manfred. You got Rob Manfred basically throwing the Giants under the bus for this whole thing. Anytime all these parties get involved and you're just sitting there saying nothing, it does become a firestorm. And that is just the part of all this that I can't stomach the most, is just how this is all blown up in such an ugly way that could have been tamped down so early on, I think.
Well, I think you touched on it earlier. You know how it gets blown out of proportion, how these things arrive to where we're at today? You don't have a leader. And that's becoming very, very evident, whether it's Larry Baer, whether it's Vitello, or whether it's Buster Posey. Somebody should have been able to cut this off at the pass. Somebody should have been able to stand up in front of the media and said, we don't tolerate X. This is not how we operate. This is embarrassing. This player will be suspended. Doesn't mean that I can't have a working relationship with him, but this is how we handle things.
You got to be professional.
There has to be a standard in place as an organization, especially one that's one of the blue bloods and one of the most respected in baseball, that being the San Francisco Giants. How far have we fallen since the dynastic run of just a short, well, it's been a while, but it is, I say this with some level of hesitancy, but it seems like we've hit a new rock bottom. But every time I say that,
you know how I feel about rock bottoms, Dan. There's always a new one here, and that's kind of thing. Whether it's the situation with the Pride hats, whether it's the situation with Rafi Devers, or just the struggles of this season, this feels like a rudderless ship being knocked around in a storm. And Buster's like, "Don't worry, this storm will pass." Yeah, maybe that's where the phrase "this will all blow over" comes from. That's what it feels like. This, like, if we just ignore it, all these problems will go away. If we just placate Rafi Devers, all these things will go away. The amount of excuse making I heard for Rafael Devers earlier in this week, Tony pointing out the frustration, Buster pointing out the frustration. This is what Buster said on Tuesday about what Rafi did.
With the way the season's gone, everybody's frustrated, and I think that's a byproduct of frustration. I haven't spoken to Rafi directly, but I know Tony has talked to him, and he can share more with you. But I know they had a good conversation after the game, and it kind of reminded me of, it's not exactly the same, but I remember an incident with Casilla in Arizona one time, coming off the mound with Boch. Gosh, I mean, sometimes in the heat of the moment, you're battling, you want to win a game so bad, stuff comes out and happens probably that you would rather it not happen. But I think about Casilla, it's one of my favorite people in all the whole world, and one of my favorite teammates, and we're all prone to have missteps at times.
I see, it's just heat of the moment, prone to missteps, trying to compare it to Santiago Casilla. Buster, this is your most highest paid player.
Nice try.
Showing up the first-year manager that you took the risk in hiring. Again, I don't want to completely beat this Rafi story to death. It happened several days ago. I do want to talk about what's going on with the team right now. And they did hit the 81 game point last night, Dan. We're officially halfway there. Whoa, living on a prayer. Halfway through the season. On the other side, I want to start getting into the season as a whole. Maybe we can recap anything else from last night's game. I guess not. Giants lose 3-1 to the Braves. I got a question about Buster Posey, Tony Vitello, and Rafi Devers, Dan. I'm going to throw it to you on the other side. It's brought to you by Fairmont Bank, here for you, here for good.
This is Larry Flick, owner of The Floor Store. July 4th is one holiday that lights up our country, and our 4th of July sale is here to light up your home. So from now to July 6th, everything in our stores will be 25% off. That's carpet, hardwood, laminate, waterproof flooring, and much more. If we sell it, it's 25% off. Add 2 years free financing, and you won't need fireworks. Visit floorstores.com to find the nearest of our 11 Bay Area showrooms. From Santa Rosa to San Jose, The Floor Store, your Bay Area flooring authority.
If you're still using a sports book to bet on the soccer tournament, you're getting robbed. Delete that app and join the millions using Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. Trade against other fans, not the house. Polymarket, your go-to prediction market for soccer's biggest stage. Available in all 50 states. Download the Polymarket app. Use promo code BLAZE to unlock $50 free for your first trade. That's promo code BLAZE. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
Hey, it's Willard and Dibbs for Safeway. Enjoy these amazing deals for members, and as always, save up to 20% weekly on hundreds of exclusive offers from Safeway. Just clip the highlighted deals from the weekly mailer or click the deals in the For You section of the Safeway app to breeze through checkout. Visit Safeway in-store to play their Centennial Shuffle all week long for a chance to win a free item. Mix and match signature select chicken, drumsticks, or thighs value packs, or buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. And I need some side dishes for this protein.
You can mix and match juicy 1-pound strawberries with 6-ounce blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries are just $2.99 each when you buy 3. Plus, clip or click Lucerne shredded, sliced, or chunk cheese, 6 to 8 ounce selected varieties for just $1.99 each. Limit 4 items.
Safeway makes it very easy for you to save money on the items you already buy. Go to Safeway.com for more details, and we will see you in the aisles.
Hey, it's Dan Dibley. The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every match from the opening stage all the way to the final, and you can even trade on who wins the whole thing. And right now, Argentina is trading at 14% to win the entire thing. And if you put $100 in your trade, that would net a $642 payout. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code DIBS, D-I-B-S, to get $10 when you trade 10, K-A-L-S-H-I. Kalshi. Trade the beautiful game. 18 and over only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned here. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
We all know what the 2 best words in sports are. Game 7. But the number 7 has even more meaning in vodka. Because when a vodka is 7 times distilled, it creates a smooth, premium taste that is unbeatable. And there's no better vodka than New Vodka. Spelled N-U-E. New Vodka is 7 times distilled, not 7 times the price. It's an award-winning, American-made vodka that is smooth enough to sip and bold enough to mix. So at a time when everything costs more, New Vodka is the best deal in town. Pick up a bottle of New Vodka at your local liquor store today and cheers to something new. Visit newvodka.com to find out more. That's NUEvodka.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Line drive, base hit.
And that's a first big league hit. And that was a bullet. And the Cavanaugh family, they may not sit down the rest of the night.
Now back to the best Giants talk in the Bay. The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Dwayne Kuiper, Mike Krukow on the call there as Drew Kavanaugh, the rookie catcher, gets called up yesterday and gets his first big league knock. That was really cool to see last night. It's always cool to see guys get their first big league hit after the game. One of my favorite questions I like to ask guys when they get a big milestone like that is, who gets the ball? And he is giving the ball to Mom because Mom has been his rock. So shout out all the moms out there. Shout out my mom in case she's listening.
And Dan, that's the welcome to the big league moment for any Giants players when Sam Lubman asks you where your first big league hit ball is.
Yep, it's not an official big league first hit unless I'm asking that question. I've asked a few. I was a few years ago when Lamont Wade Jr. hit the 100 splash hit. Same thing. Who's getting the ball? He's like, yeah, I'm going to give it to my mom.
Wasn't she there? Didn't something happen?
Well, no, that was 21. He hit a splash hit right over her.
That's right.
She was standing out in the arcade and he hit the ball over her. Lamont Wade Jr. had a lot of really cool home runs.
Late night Lamont, man.
And then he had that one foul ball that, could have been so much cooler if it was just a few feet to the left.
This Kavanaugh kid was raking at the minor league level. So.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, and he was like hitting at 330. He was just like their best hitter. So, yeah, we'll see.
We're going to see him for about 10-ish days. Again, Daniel Susac was placed on the injury list yesterday. He's having a back issue that flared up in Thursday's game. Tony Vitello said it could be about a 10-day stay for him. So we're going to see Kavanaugh for a few days at least. So
I like Victor Barracuda.
Oh, that was, great. First he had the walk-off on Wednesday. That was really cool. And then, the catch he had last night, he's a guy that's going to be around.
Couple assists from the outfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Strong arm.
So I like what we're seeing from Victor
we can
Barracuda.
get into that because what are you going to do when Ramos is back?
You beat me to it. Tony did say yesterday that Elliot Ramos, as late as Monday, could be reactivated off of the injured list, Dan. And I am very curious, what is this team going to look like when Elliot Ramos comes back? Because, such a big source of frustration for this team in the first few weeks of the season in the weeks of May was, how are you going to get Bryce Eldridge in the lineup? Because you couldn't take Casey Schmidt out of the lineup. You couldn't take Rafael Devers out of the lineup. You weren't taking Chapman or Willy Adames out of the lineup. You definitely weren't taking Luis Arias out of the lineup. So what were you going to do when Elliott injured his quad against the A's? That ended up being kind of a break for the Giants because it allowed them to move Casey Schmidt to left, where he's absolutely excelled since then. And
I don't like him as an outfielder.
I think he's done well, though.
He's okay.
I think he's a better defender than Ramos. He had that
really?
He had that catch. I think it was the third inning in foul territory, where I forget who hit it. It was a foul ball down the left field line. Casey sprinted over quite a good amount of distance to get to that ball, make the play, fell into the net. That was, I thought, a really great play from him.
That'd be a great poll question. Who's a better defender, him or Elliot Ramos?
Maybe we can make that the YouTube poll question today. My guess is, they put Jung Hoo Lee in center last night. I'm not a fan of Jung Hoo Lee in center. I think Jung-Hee's been great in right field. I think he's a Gold Glove candidate in right field. He has made some incredible catches out there. Yesterday, he had a ball get over his head that Matt Olson hit that double that just got past his glove there. I don't love Jung Hoo Lee in center, but if you got to put him in center and then put Ramos in right, which I believe is his natural position, then you got Casey, Jung Hoo Lee, and Ramos in the outfield. Then that allows you to keep your infield the same: Chapman, Adames, Arias, Devers, with Bryce Eldridge DHing, Drew Gilbert, Victor Barracuda probably coming off the bench, Jonah Cox. You're probably back in Sacramento. That's how I would guess right now.
I think that right now, if you were to look at the last 72 hours, there's a lot of belief that Barracuda's got to play every day. If you look at his body of work, let me just stay with me here because everybody's going to get traded, right? That's not nailed down.
That's true.
They're going to take phone calls.
Ramos is a guy who should be on the block.
Definitely. Well, That's where I was going.
You
got to take phone calls for Elliot Ramos, right? I would, or have you seen enough from Barracuda where you're willing to give him an outfield position right now?
I think you're probably putting Ramos back in just because Barracuda, he's the new guy on the block. It's fun. It's exciting. Ramos, you kind of know what you're getting there, good and bad. But
therein lies part of the problem. If he comes back, Barracuda is a guy who's got to play every day. And if it's not here, then he's got to go back to the minor leagues. This idea of not playing him for 2 weeks as they did and then calling him up as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning of a game.
Well, especially when you consider how rarely Tony uses his pinch hitters too, or gets his backup outfielders in there.
That's just bad managing. There's no other way to slice that up. So This is the problem with some of these younger players. Same thing with Knox to a certain degree, although he's a speedster, but you've got to play these guys.
Well, that's kind of the problem, though, when you have a guy like Elia Ramos there, because as I said a minute ago, his injury is more or less what opened things up to get Bryce Eldridge into the lineup. At some point, they would have figured out a way to get him in every day. The Ramos injury, though, was a manna from heaven in a sense, in that it opened the door for Bryce to get those regular at-bats. He's not going back to the bench. He's not going back to Sacramento. Bryce Eldridge is entrenched on this roster for the time being.
The next 15 years.
Yeah, the future and everything in between, as Joe Shasky said. With Ramos, though, yeah, I do think he is a trade candidate. I don't think he's a great defensive player. He's probably more of a DH, except I don't think he hits well enough to be a DH. They're in an awkward situation with Ramos where he's good enough that you want to keep in the lineup every day, but I don't think he's good enough in that if the Giants are saying we're dying on the Elia Ramos hill, Giants fans aren't going to be thrilled with that. That's going to be very frustrating to see. So hopefully Ramos can hit the ground running, come back strong, and kind of make this a non-issue because, again, hitting and winning cures all ills here. If the goal is to focus on younger players, though, Dan, I agree with you. The goal should be when Ramos comes back, what team can we send him to start opening things up for the Barracotos, for the Drew Gilberts, for the Jonah Coxes of the world?
Exactly. I think you have to pick a lane here. And to me, if I'm Buster Posey, I've already taken calls about Elia Ramos.
He's taking calls on everybody, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm at least testing the waters, right? But you've got to deal him, I think. Well, let me take that back. You don't have to deal him, but I think Barracoto's got to play every day, whether it's here or it's in Sacramento. And the idea of him coming off the bench and pitch hitting is
silly. See that, you bring that up, that might be the temporary solution when Ramos comes back, is sending Barracoto down to the minors to get him those everyday at-bats. It's not ideal. That being said, if Jonah Cox and Drew Gilbert are coming off your bench, I think that's what those guys are. I think they are bench players. I'm okay with that. I think Gilbert, the defensive metrics don't like him. The eye test tells me that he is a solid defender. He's pretty good with the route running. Jonah Cox, he has the speed and range to be a good defender off the bench. Maybe that is the better situation, is you keep Gilbert and Cox and give Barracoto the everyday reps. We'll find out Monday at the latest. Let's go to the lines here. 888-957-9570 is the number to call or text. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Sam Lemon alongside Dan Devone. We take any and all Giants takes on this show. Let's go out to the East Bay and talk to our friend Hank. Hank, how you doing, buddy? You're on the Wrap.
I'm doing pretty well, but how you guys doing?
Yeah, we're getting at it.
That's great. Well, things could be worse. It's June. We're talking baseball. I just want to say that I'm actually calling in because I want to protect the players. I want to address the politics if you guys want, but I like talking baseball the most. And I just want to address. There's this thing where the local media, we're kind of getting to be like Boston, where if there's a high priced player who's maybe not getting the numbers, they seem to always be getting run out of town. And, in the trade deadline of 2024, I saw something that I had never seen in my 35 years as a Giants fan, which is waving the white flag in 2024 and trading away Soler and Cobb. And that was extremely discouraging. I'd never seen it before. And what was even more discouraging was all the local media was kind of celebrating Soler getting traded. I'm like, Soler's good. He's a dangerous hitter. He could have helped us make the playoffs that year. We didn't even make the playoffs. And this is a continuing thing. You look at Jock Peterson, amazing hitter. Oh, he's playing cards in the dugout. We got to run him out of town. Or Brandon Belt. Let's not re-sign Brandon Belt because he's this and that. And then he goes to Toronto and he leads the Blue Jays in OPS. And the next year they go to the World Series. And we're just running players out of town. We're running Longoria out of town. And I just think that, it doesn't work. And I think that if you're going to talk about trading players, what you do, what the discussion shouldn't be who's the most disappointing high price contract, because that's basically now you're instead of talking baseball, you're talking ownership books. That's not fun to talk about. So I think if you're going to talk about trading players, what you do is you free up the logjam. You say, do we want to get Jesus Rodriguez more at bats? Do we want to get Barracoto more at bats? Do we want to get Casey Schmidt a regular job. I think that's where it should go. And I also want to say that the Giants are back, and all this negativity is like getting in the way of.
Hey, Hank,
we have for the first time.
Back where?
Yeah, Hank, what do you mean by we're back? The Giants are back.
I'll explain. We're getting $35,000 a night. Back in 2006, 2007, we signed Aaron Rowan to a $100 million contract just to get $30,000 in the ballpark. Now we got $35,000. The problem with Posey is he keeps re-signing. He keeps signing Aaron Rowan, followed by Aaron Rowan, followed by Aaron Rowan. It's like, no, we don't need Aaron Rowan anymore. We already got $35,000 in the ballpark. But I just want to say that.
Wait, what do you mean we keep signing Aaron Rowan? Like, I assume you don't mean we keep signing the same player over. I assume you're saying like Aaron Rowan type players.
Well, we are. Matt Chapman and Adames.
I see. Okay.
Player.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that Buster Posey, he's done the first step of getting the ball club back into the headlines, which is saying that it's like when the Giants signed Aaron Rowan, when the Giants signed Matt Chapman, we're putting up a flag and saying we're open for business. Okay, when we're open for business, the fans are interested and free agents are looking to sign here. But what Posey is missing is, what do you do after you sign Aaron Rowan? What do you do after you sign Matt Chapman?
Yeah.
What do you do after you sign Barry Zito? Okay,
well, I think,
and what I would do, yeah.
Well, just you're very passionate about this, Hank. I appreciate that. Like, I think when he's bringing in guys like Chapman and Adames, it's not uncommon for teams to. Sorry about that, Hank. What you're trying to do in that situation, you want to bring veterans in to kind of set a tone in your clubhouse. Also, those guys were brought in to fill two positions, shortstop and third base, that the Giants didn't really have any internal options that they could go to there. So that's a part of why they signed those two players. And to your point of like, we don't need guys like that. We're getting $35,000 a night. Part of the reason why you are getting $35,000 a night is, I'm not gonna say it's the main reason. Part of the reason is you have name recognition players that fans want to show up and see. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah. No, I think what's really discouraging is, I feel like we're ready to take the next level, and then everyone's talking fire sale. I mean, Barry Bonds, I've heard multiple hosts on both of the local channels saying trade Julio Ramos, trade Luis Arias. These are two of the most exciting players I've been following the Giants in 1989. Mm-hmm. Julio Ramos would be a star in the 89 Giants. Arias would be a star in the 2002 Giants. These are superstars.
No, I agree with you, Hank.
Trade these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, Hank, I appreciate
it.
Hey, Hank, I appreciate your call. Love your passion there. The reality is they're 33-48. They're 15 games under. They're not a very good baseball team. They have good players, but they're not a good team. And that's the unfortunate situation, and that's why you're hearing conversations about trading some of these guys that you like. Because when you're a bad team with good players, you unload your good players to get prospects to become a good team later on. I don't want to trade Luis Arias. He's one of my favorite Giants of all time. He's been here for 2.5 months.
We talked about it to death. He's got to go. I like Pasa's idea of just randomly playing the boys are back in town and getting playing Hank out.
You know what? I'll say 35 years being a Giants fan, that dude had his passion there. So, what? I'm not going to take his.
He wasn't making a lot of sense. And he touched on something. Hank, if you want to call back.
Well, the guy had an Aaron Rowan drop in there. That's always going to make my day.
I did not mean to do that, by the way.
I thought it was perfect.
He said they're back, and that's what I thought of. I just wanted to see if we had it.
The one thing that he did touch on, and Hank, if you want to call back, is I wanted to find out sort of where the origin of this is from. He felt as though the media here locally is running stars out of town. He's referring to Rafi Devers. So was he insinuating that what happened the other day, it's the media that's making something out of nothing? Because I've heard a lot of people that feel along the same lines, that there's nothing really to see here. This is baseball.
Rafi Devers thinks that.
Oh, I know.
I think what it is that the media in general, you guys just blow everything out of proportion. And I think it's a reflection that I really don't talk to you guys. I don't talk to the media. So because I don't talk to the media, things like this happen. So you guys got to write everything and try to blow everything out of proportion. I mean, I respect the manager. I didn't mean to be disrespectful to him. That's why I apologize. But it's things that happen. And, you know, I think it's because I don't talk to the media that you guys, meaning the media, just want to write something about it and just blow everything out of proportion.
Yeah, anytime you go the media is the enemy route, you lose me in that one. And I'm going to be biased in that. I am part of the media. I was not in that particular scrum, but yeah, I will sit here and say, no, the media's job is to answer these questions. To Hank's point.
Well, wait a minute. Yeah, so let's just stay with that for a moment.
Yeah.
And for anybody else that wants to blame it on the media, in this instance in particular, or fake news or whatever the hell it is that you're buying into these days, when you have, and I've never seen this before, when you have Rafi Devers waving off a pinch runner and saying, no, and poor Jonah Cox is like, I don't know what the hell to do here. Go back. We know how it played out, but just to remind everybody, when we've never seen that before, a guy refuses to come out of a game in the ninth inning.
It's an inexcusable situation.
It's inexcusable, but guess who wants answers?
We do, the fans.
The fans, the people.
The what the heck is going on here?
Saw that for a team that is struggling, that is like, what's going on here? So guess what? As an obligation there, Rafi Devers, let me just take you to a Journalism 101 class. It is our responsibility to the fans to find out what the hell was happening. We're not out to get you. Same with you, Hank, if you want to call in. This isn't a conspiracy theory on the part of Sam Lubbock and company. It's that you have an oath and an obligation to find out what the hell was happening and transpired and to hear it through your eyes. And we're giving you this platform and an opportunity to do so. So anybody else that wants to buy into this, well, what is it that you got? Why are you going knives out after Rafi Devers, after their stars? Oh, it's the media. Miss me with that crap, all right? And especially Rafi, oh boy, that as much as anything else that he did.
You got fired up a little bit there. Well, no, and this is where, again, where guys like Rafi Devers, this is why I think Rafi...
Boys are backing down, boss. This is random boys are backing down.
This is the thing with Rafi Devers, though, guys of that caliber player, Dan, and one thing Giants fans have wanted is a star caliber level player. The reason why I think Rafi fits that definition in a sense is a star player is a guy who you can always talk about. There's always a conversation around him. When you make a contract like that, Rafi Devers, no Giant in history has ever had the kind of contract that Rafi Devers had. Okay, Willy Adames set the record with $188 million. Giants didn't sign that $295 million deal, but they inherited it. And as such, Rafi Devers is now the highest earning Giant in all of history. They're going to be paying him $250 million when it's all said and done if he does play out all 8 years of his time in San Francisco. No one in the 140-year history of this organization, dating back to when they were the New York Gothams in 1883, has been paid as much money.
Were you doing a post-game show with him?
Oh, yeah, no, with Jim Mutry was the manager back then. We chopped it up all the time. Amos Ruzzi, great post-game interview. Very consummate professional. You come into the dugout afterwards. He's halfway through his bottle of whiskey and beef jerky. He's like, yeah, I'm ready to go the next day. Let's do it. Don't ask those guys about their thoughts on Pride Night, though. We got Hank back on the line here. Let's give Hank round two.
Back.
I want to hear his thoughts on Rafi Devers. And Skills, I see you as well. I want to hear your thoughts on Rafi as well.
Do we got Hank on?
Yeah, we got Hank back on.
Hank, let me just set this up. Hank, before you go, and when I say go, I don't mean leave the line, but before you talk. When you said that the media is going after Rafi Devers, please be specific. And what do you mean that we're running stars out of town? And what do you mean by the media is going after Rafi Devers? The floor is yours.
Hi. Hello?
Hey, Hank. What's up?
Did you miss all that?
Hi.
Hey.
No, I hear you. I want to refer to Noam Chomsky's book, Manufacturing Consent. So I feel like with the local media, and I'm not attacking any radio personalities necessarily. I'm just saying that if I'm going to put on my conspiracy theorist hat, it looks like there's been all the local teams do this. It's like the nature of the way we cover teams has changed.
Hank, hold on. I don't want to hear about Norm Chomsky, and I don't want to talk in generalities. You mentioned Rafael Devers, and the local media was unfair to him and trying to run him out of town as it relates to Rafael Devers and what it is that he did the other day and the local media. Please explain yourself.
I'm calling in because I didn't call in when Soler was traded. I didn't call in when we didn't sign Brandon Belt. I didn't call in when we let Peterson go, and they're all gone and we didn't get better. This is the main thing I want to say. Getting rid of your best players is not how you win a World Series. Getting rid of your best players is not how you win a division. Getting rid of your best players is not how you win a pennant. And I don't know where this idea came from. Probably ownership. And let me just say this. The reason why I think Devers, first of all, I didn't like the Devers acquisition the day it happened, but it's been proven to be a great acquisition.
How so?
How so? I'll tell you how so. We can't sign sluggers in this market. We've never been able to sign sluggers in this market. So acquiring a slugger via a trade is brilliant. I didn't really like it when it first happened, but I think it's great. And what I love about Devers, I call him the unicorn. Okay, this guy's swinging for the upper deck every at bat. You can see it in his batting average, but that's okay. He swings for the upper deck every at bat, and he plays every game.
Yeah,
that's unheard of.
That's a good call, Hank.
That's unheard of.
Hank, there's 63 in 90 or something ever since they acquired Rafi Devers. How is this going well?
That's not the player's problem. We're doing well. We're doing well for a team that hasn't announced a bullpen. We're doing well for a team with a coach straight from college who's never even been to spring training until this year. You know, we're doing well for an ownership group, the Johnson family, that gave money to Marjorie Taylor Greene. But I don't want to talk about that. What I want to talk about is the roster, and it's hard to talk about the roster when everyone's saying get rid of players. And you know who loves Helio Ramos? You know who loves watching Helio Ramos?
You?
Barry Bonds. Yeah. Barry Bonds is gushing about Helio Ramos the last 2 years. You're talking about running that town. And I just want to say that what's really hurting this team, I'm not talking about who to get rid of or politics. I don't want to talk about that either. You know, what I want to talk about is this team doesn't have good defense. Bob Brenly said it himself. It's not a tightly run team, and I think a quick fix for that is to throw Gilbert in center and have him play the rest of the year there. Because who's one of the players that got the Giants on track with our last dynasty? Omar Vizquel at short, Gold Glover, and then we got Andre.
Hey, Hank,
we love you, Hank.
Hank, thank you very much for calling in. Yeah, a lot to unpack on that one there.
No, there's nothing to unpack. Let's move on.
All right, I want to get the skills on the other side. Hey, you know what? Hey, Hank, I like your passion.
No, Hank was all right.
All right, I like your passion.
Make a little sense there at the end.
You lost me at the Jock part. Jock was, and I got fooled by Jock.
You don't believe he was a great hitter?
No, he was a great eater, is what Jock was. I don't like to just completely unload on guys like this.
We're ganging up on Hank.
No, but Jock was one of the just should not have been on this team ever. I wanted Jock on this team. I learned very quickly afterwards, no, I did not want Jock on this team. Just not a great part of that clubhouse.
Group really give money to Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Yeah, they give money to a bunch of people that we don't like.
Wow.
But
maybe there is something to.
Well, the owner, Charles Johnson did.
Well, that's what I mean.
The old guy that we never see at all. It
was Lauren Boebert, but same thing.
Yeah, basically, two sides of the same coin. Skills, we'll get to you on the other side. I'll tease a question. Last segment. I'm going to give it on the other side, though. Brought to you by Fremont Bank here for you.
Hey, it's Willard and Dibbs for Safeway. Enjoy these amazing deals for members, and as always, save up to 20% weekly on hundreds of exclusive offers from Safeway. Just clip the highlighted deals from the weekly mailer or click the deals in the For You section of the Safeway app to breeze through checkout. Visit Safeway in-store to play their Centennial Shuffle all week long for a chance to win a free item. Mix and match signature select chicken, drumsticks, or thighs, value packs, or buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. And I need some side dishes for this protein.
You can mix and match juicy 1-pound strawberries with 6-ounce blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries are just $2.99 each when you buy 3. Plus, clip or click Lucerne shredded, sliced, or chunk cheese, 6 to 8 ounce selected varieties for just $1.99 $9.99 each, limit 4 items.
Safeway makes it very easy for you to save money on the items you already buy. Go to Safeway.com for more details, and we will see you in the aisles.
Hey, it's Dan Dibley. The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every match from the opening stage all the way to the final, and you can even trade on who wins the whole thing. And right now, Argentina is trading at 14% to win the entire thing. And if you put $100 in your trade, that would net a $642 payout. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code DIBS, D-I-B-S, to get $10 when you trade 10, K-A-L-S-H-I. Kalshi. Trade the beautiful game. 18 and over only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned here. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
We all know what the 2 best words in sports are. Game 7. But the number 7 has even more meaning in vodka. Because when a vodka is 7 times distilled, it creates a smooth, premium taste that is unbeatable. And there's no better vodka than New Vodka. Spelled N-U-E, New Vodka is 7 times distilled, not 7 times the price. It's an award-winning, American-made vodka that is smooth enough to sip and bold enough to mix. So at a time when everything costs more, New Vodka is the best deal in town. Pick up a bottle of New Vodka at your local liquor store today and cheers to something new. Visit newvodka.com to find out more. That's NUEvodka.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I left the pizza box on top of my car before driving home. Not smart. Oh, and a semi just turned my deep dish into a thin crust.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Shop Smart & Final for everything you need to celebrate America's 250th. Celebrate 250 years with deals on cookout favorites. This 4th, shop club sizes with no membership fees. For your chance to score a gift card courtesy of Smart & Final, visit 957thegame.com.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Now back to the best Giants talk in the Bay. The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, not breaking news sounder worthy, but just came across my timeline. Tyler Beede elects free agency.
Oh.
Former Giants first round pick. The Beaty's back in town. No, but could you imagine if the Giants did that? Just bring back all their lost first round picks. Austin Slater's still out there somewhere. Bring in Tyler Beatty, too.
He was such a big prospect. Remember when he was coming up through the ranks?
He was the lefty masher.
They ran him out of town.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Same thing with Tyler Beatty. You know who we're not going to run out of town, though? It's one of our Tier 1 callers. Let's go to Vallejo and talk to our guy, Skills. What's going on, Skills?
Hey, good morning there. Sam Love and Nan Devone. Happy to be on with you. And I want to just say first, I do get Hank's point about the Rowan signing over and over again. I know what he was trying to say, but I will say in defense of Rowan, I am grateful to him for saving Jonathan Sanchez's no-hitter, as well as throwing out Carlos Ruiz in the playoffs later or the next year. So there's that.
There you go. Yeah, hey, Rowan had those 2 moments.
Yeah, he gave us that. So it still wasn't worth the entire dollar amount. But moving on, I'll just say that through the years, watching like the Warriors when they were struggling, it seemed like every week there was some ex-Warrior coming back and beating them. Dropping 30 points on them. And that's what it's kind of seeming like with the Giants this year. I mean, they're getting beat by a lot of people, but I mean, in recent weeks, we've seen Kyle Harrison come back, shut them down through eight innings. I think it was a shutout ball. I could be wrong about that. So that was hard to watch. And then you have last night, Knob Smith comes in, former Giant, who I hoped they would find a way to bring back, even though I knew it probably wasn't going to happen. I had hoped and advocated for him to come back because he had been good for us in 2025. He comes back. He delivers against us last night. Dubon, former Giant, comes back and they team up and they sink us last night, which was fitting. And, it was encouraging to see Adrian Hauser throw a couple good innings out of the bullpen. Maybe that'll help with that area going forward. But I think we're playing Arizona next. And I looked up and down their roster. I did not see any former Giants that are going to come back and hopefully beat us.
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't happen. But I do have Ketel Marte on that roster.
They do have Ketel Marte, though. He's just as big of a problem.
Yeah, they do have Marte. They do have Arenado, who's taken it to us repeatedly over the years. I'm not looking forward to pitching against him, even though he's getting older. His numbers are down, but still. And now I just want to target the Barracola situation real quick. And here's a guy, and by the way, rest in peace to his brother's girlfriend who died in the earthquake.
Yeah, very heartbreaking to hear that story.
Very heartbreaking. Yeah, that's just a tragedy you never want to see happen. But Barracola, here he is. He had been on the bench since June 10th, I think it was, before the Wednesday game. And then he goes deep, he ends the game at home, and he pimped it for all it was worth, like he was Victor Martinez or something, that guy. And then he hits another one the next day, I think it was, and he pimps that one even harder.
He pimps these things pretty well, actually, Skills.
What's that?
He pimps those home runs pretty well, I got to say, for a rookie.
Oh, yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. He is one of the all-time rookie pimpers I've ever seen. And here's the thing. I went on Facebook and I posted that when he pimped the first home run, you never know. He may never hit another one for all we know. And of course he hits another one like 24 hours later. So egg on my face for that one. But good. Now they got to find playing time for him along with Ramos coming back. It's going to be interesting to watch how that shake out. The last thing I want to say, if I may, is about the Devers situation. And Devone, you mentioned that this has never happened before. I called it a game. I called it Willard and Dibs on, I think it was Tuesday, and just pointed out that this has happened before. It happened with Jose Guillen of the Angels in 2004. He did the exact same thing that Devers did. Just putting that out there, and he got suspended for the rest of the season. I had some comments about Devers on that Willard and Dibs show. This was 6 days ago, and I stand by those comments. I'm not going to repeat them all here. I've already been on for a minute. But basically, I appreciate Devers coming through in the clutch with the home run tonight than the other day. And that, for fans like me who had pretty much turned on him after that whole situation with Vitello, that's going to help. He's got more work to do, and it's not just in the batter's box. It's not just with the mitt. He's as a teammate, and he's representing the Giants. He's got to do better in those categories. He's got to continue to do those things. Speak to the media maybe every so often. And he's supposed to be. He's a highest-paid guy. He's got to be a leader in some aspects. Now he did offer an apology. I credit him for that. No one wants to hold this against him for the rest of the time, but he's got to work his way back to total forgiveness for that.
I agree
and that's
with
all the rambling I'm going to do today. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Skills. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Any chance they can move him?
It's not going to be easy. I mean, it's possible. I like as Mark Wheeler would say, it's allowed to happen. If someone bites on it, though, our guy Ruderman, he's insisting that the Yankees would absolutely want to jump on Rafi Devers. I do agree with him. I think the Yankees, it's the Yankees. It's not like they're short on cash, so they could do it. It's just a matter of what the numbers look like here. 888-957-9570.
How much money are you willing to eat?
Exactly. The question I want to ask about Rafi Devers, about Tony Vitello, about Buster Posey.
Oh, wait, before we move on for...
we'll stay on this Rafi conversation, but yeah, what do you got?
No, this is the Barracuda, just a quick little...
yeah.
So do you know that both of his home runs went the same exit velocity and traveled the exact same
Really?
distance?
445, 108?
Yes. Isn't
That's
that pretty wild?
Wow.
Yeah, same
that one
location.
he hit on Friday. At first when I saw it, I thought it just barely got over the fence. Or not Friday, Wednesday.
Bombs.
Right? Yeah. The first one I thought it just got over the fence. I went back and rewatched. It's like, oh no, he really put his cheeks into that one. And yeah, basically the same home run on Thursday where he cranked it out of there. And he watches it go, turns, throws the bat off to the side. Just so much swagger there. He's got a good head of hair too, Victor Barracuda.
Like the salad?
Yeah, I like to think I'm an expert on those kind of subjects. Rafi Devers, Tony Vitello, Buster Posey. Are the Giants better with or without them?
Well,
that's the question I want to ask today. We can start with the Rafi Devers aspect of it, Dan, since Skills kind of gave us that jumping off point there. And again, I know this happened a week ago, but it's still going to be something that's on the minds of Giants fans for a long, long time here. When Rafi stepped to the plate in the ninth inning on, Thursday against the A's, he got a strikeout in the last at bat and just popped up there. There were some Giants fans who were in the stands who were booing him a little bit.
Right on.
After that moment. And
oh, yes.
On Tuesday, they came back from his first at bat on the broadcast, and they come out of commercial. It's the drone shot over the ballpark out in left field over the third base line. And then all of a sudden you cut to Rafi Devers about to get his first pitch. There was no Rafi stepping into the plate. There was no let's pause and hear the reaction when Rafi steps in. That was very much Rafi's going to get booed when he steps to the plate. Let's not show it on TV. Fans are absolutely pissed off, and they should be. That is not how you act if you're a Giant. You can act that way if you're on the Marlins or the Twins or the Pirates or some other this is an original 8 franchise in the National League. This is the franchise of Madison Bumgarner, of Buster Posey, of Willie Mays, of Will Clark. You do not show up your manager like that. Barry Bonds never even showed up his managers like that. Jim Leland that one time, but there was a back and forth there. There was a dialogue between the two.
Leland was such a badass.
Google Barry Bonds, Jim Leland for those who don't know. To do that was absolutely childish on Rafi Devers' part. And I do think, Dan, he is going to have to re-earn some trust with this fan base after pulling a stunt like that. Giants fans are not stupid. We are a very smart fan base. We're a pissed off fan base right now. We get a little over-passionate sometimes like Hank did in the last segment, but we are an intelligent fan base. We know when a guy truly belongs in this clubhouse and is truly worthy to wear this uniform. When you show up your manager like that, that is not Giants baseball. That is not what fans accept as, supporters of this team. So Rafi absolutely should be behind the 8 ball with this franchise. Now, hitting that home run on Wednesday night, yeah, that'll turn things around a little bit. That's a good way to kind of get the conversation flowing in a positive direction. But one night does not offset what happened.
Well, and I heard, what's Kuiper's brother's name? Glenn?
Yes.
So as I was flying back, just familiarizing myself with the Giants and getting lathered up, what's going on with S7, I had a long flight. I was taking in some articles, and then on my flight, I was watching some podcasts. He has a podcast, and I could not disagree with him more on the Rafi Devers take. And he's awake. He's interesting. I think he has a lot of fascinating things to say. It's a good podcast. I suggest everybody subscribe, do whatever it is that you do on YouTube and watch the damn thing. But he missed the boat when he was talking about specifically the fans, what it is you're referring to. Now, we may not agree with the fans booing. And by the way, they're handing out those bobbleheads tonight. Or today.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Rafi Devers bobblehead today. What a great time.
You want to throw that thing into the bay? So don't throw it onto the field, all right? But you want to do with something. The one thing.
Just sell it on eBay like everyone else
I got into a conversation with somebody else here at 95.7 The Game. We may disagree with what it is that fans want to do, but you cannot regulate that, okay? Fans, they don't have a seat at this table. One of the few things that they can do is boo the hell out of you. And we can't justify it. We can't sit there and say you shouldn't do that as Glenn Kuiper was trying to say, like, really, you're going to boo Rafi? It may not make sense to us, but do you as a fan base? I remember they booed Podziemski when he's introduced out at Oracle, and a lot of people are like, why are you booing Podziemski for crying out loud? But if you do, go ahead.
That's how fans let their voices be heard.
Major League Baseball may go on strike next year, right? And who gets screwed
Probably
at the
going
end
to
of
happen.
the day? Right?
We do, the fans.
Right. The fans get screwed constantly.
Yep.
You want to jack up prices? Go ahead. We'll still go. But one of the few things that we can do that you can't modify is you cannot tell us how we should or should not react as fans. And as fans, if I don't like what it is that Rafael Devers did, I want to flip him the bird, I want to boo the hell out of him, well, then it's my right to do so. If I want to take his bobblehead and throw it into the bay, if they want to get together and do that as a unit, I'm all for it. But don't ever try and tell me, Glenn Kuiper, or anybody else out there, why you booing Rafi. Really? Look, you may not agree.
Fans are smart enough to know why they need to boo him.
Well, if they're smart or dumb or whatever the hell it is that they're doing, but do you? Because you can't be regulated. It may not make sense, but I would never take away that right.
I agree. I 100% with you, Dan. That is how fans let their voices be heard. And they gave a little bit of booing on Thursday to Rafi Devers. There was a little bit of booing before the game when Landon Roop was announced in the pregame introductions as well. I would say both of those guys got less boos than Brandon Podziemski did, though, that one time. So say what you will about that. Pods is apparently still more reviled than Rafi Devers and Landon Roop right now. The way they handled this Rafi Devers thing, and again, I know this happened a few days ago. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. We like to talk about things that happened throughout the week with the Giants. And even though this did happen a few days ago, this is not something that fans are going to forget, nor should they forget what Rafi did there and showing up his manager, Tony Vitello. I was disappointed that they did not sit him. Dan, I was very disappointed with the excuse making they made for him, saying that, oh, it's just a sign of frustration. That's what Rafi is. You know, I ride or die with him. I'm going to quote the town when I talk about him.
I know you like his little movie quotes. They're getting old. Like, whose car are we going to take? Like, dude, you know that was...
I'll say this, though. When he hit the home run on Wednesday night, it was Wednesday night when he hit that home run, right? I'm not getting my days confused. There we go. And then afterwards, Tony's like, yeah, you know, I told Rafi that if he gets on base, we're going to pinch run him. That's why he hit the home run. I laughed at that.
That was funny.
I would have laughed if I was there. Tony pointed out someone giving him the courtesy laugh. I would have given him, when he did his Shawshank line, when he saw, sometimes you got to wade through the poop to get to the sun, to the sunshine. He says that there's a moment of silence. I'm just like, hell yeah. Just because I like the quote. But he kind of looked at me there. It's like, all right, I definitely would have said something there. But
this one was not you should be quoting from a movie. Not at all.
I would have liked to have seen some action. We had Keith Law on the Morning Roast on Tuesday, and we asked him about this. This is before Buster spoke. And this is what Law said the Giants should have done. Keith Law, for those who don't know, senior MLB writer for The Athletic. He's been all around baseball. He was a front office executive or front office consultant for the Blue Jays for a while. Here's what he had to say about Rafi Devers needing to sit for several days.
You bench him. I mean, this is the first thing you do, right? He shouldn't play again for at least several days with the expectation that he is going to make things right. Like, you want to get back in the lineup. And I understand he might say, I'm fine just going on the bench and collecting my check. But you have to do this both as a way to, it's like behavior management, like you would with a toddler, right? You can't smear your spaghetti up against the wall on the wall. I'm sorry. You can't. I understand you think it's art, but you can't do that.
I do think that the Giants should have benched Rafi for a couple days. I think that's how Tony lays down the law. I'm in charge here. You do not show me up. When you talk about, we had a great conversation, he apologized this and that. And when he did apologize, if he did show contrition, let's be generous and say Rafi's being honest on that. Let's say he is actually sorry. He is actually contrite in his apology, and he does actually understand what he did was wrong, and he cannot do that again. Let's be generous and assume that's the situation. You still have to have consequences for your actions. And I do think that for Tony Vitello, I would have liked to see him bench Rafi for a day or two, just as a way of showing, I'm the big dog in this clubhouse. I'm the manager. I run this team. That's what I wanted to see from Tony Vitello. And if there was still a problem with Rafi after that, a grown-up baseball player should understand why you need to suffer consequences for your actions. And I want players on this team who understand that dynamic.
Yeah, you can still apologize and still, iron things out, but there can still be consequences and a benching.
I still got punished. Yeah, when I misbehave as a kid, Dan, I got punished. I could say sorry all the live long day. My mom would say sorry doesn't cut it.
But at the end of the day, you have to set a precedence.
Exactly.
Because what if this happens with another player? Not necessarily this in particular, but if anything happens where a player wants to show up the manager, he can always revert back to this. Well, you can't go after me. You didn't do it to Rafi Devers, your star. This, you know what? I know you wanted to ask this question about Vitello and Buster Posey. Vitello is turning out to be a bozo. Tony Vitello is turning out to be Forrest Gump. I'm trying to think about what are one of the redeeming qualities that he's provided at this point. And for whatever reason, he gets a pass. I know a lot of people are in his corner, and he has inherited a lot of crap, right? Like a lot of this isn't on him.
I don't know how many managers are doing much better with this.
Well, what is it that he's done well, though?
I mean, how could any manager do well in this situation?
Well, I just think that there are things there are subtleties that managers. If you gave me Pat Murphy, I think the record's a little bit better. I think that there's the handling of whether it's benching Chapman or whether what happened with Devers. Certainly, a lot of things that he has done wrong, I think, could be averted by someone who's a little bit more seasoned. I think maybe the attitude in the clubhouse, who knows how that shakes out in terms of wins and losses. I'm not trying to be a wise guy here, but I'm trying to think, what is it if you were to sort of be his agent or his attorney or his PR guy, his hype guy, what is it that he's done well now that we're at the halfway point of his first full season?
It's hard for me to pick anything, any one thing, Dan. It's...
I would say that he's one thing that I would say on his behalf, that everything has gone wrong. He has been pretty stoic. He's not somebody that's, he's been somebody that has been able to guide the ship and not been all that emotional.
He hasn't lost his mind, I guess. Yes, he has kept his
I think there's some redeeming values in that.
And I've heard behind the scenes that he takes the losses hard. And I think that's part of the growing process, is understanding that at the big league level, like in college, you play 60 games a year. At the pros, you're going to lose at least 60 games a year. Like, imagine telling Tony, hey, you're going to go 0 for 60 in a season of college baseball. He would not be able to comprehend that yet. He is going to be losing that many games every year, at least, that he is a manager of the Giants. That is such a massive transition that I don't think we really, it's hard to think on the outside looking to truly comprehend what that transition is like for a guy as hyper-competitive as him.
You know what he looks like? He looks like a college manager who is trying to manage at the major league level. Yeah. He's not ready for it. He's everything that, in a worst-case scenario, we thought he potentially could be, and it's all coming to fruition. He doesn't know how to handle the veteran players. He doesn't have the respect for the veteran players. That's clearly evident. And he's made a lot of mistakes that have been, quote-unquote, growing pains. But to me, if you're going to manage at the major league level, certainly the San Francisco Giants, there's no such thing as training wheels. You have to hit the ground running. And he looks like a guy that is clearly over his skis. He looks like a guy that should not be here.
That being said, though, Dan, I do think, and this is something that Shasky and I were talking about, Shasky brought up, we were discussing, and I absolutely agree with him. If Tony could get this team through this whole kerfluffle we've seen over the last couple weeks with the Pride Night stuff, with the Rafi Devers stuff, all while still losing lots and lots of baseball games, if a month from now things are sailing smoothly again, people are still going to have feelings about what's transpired the last couple weeks. But if he could get this team through this storm here, if he could still hold his head high at the end of this season, there is nothing I think he cannot handle in this. Like, this would be a difficult situation for even the most experienced managers in baseball to deal with. This guy is as green as they come, and I will say, I think he is handling it the best that he can right now. That is something I think, that is a feather I think you can stick in his cap. It's been messy this year. I'm not trying to excuse that.
I don't know that he's not necessarily part of the problem. So that if you were to tell me that he gets through all of this and we're ready to roll it back next year with this guy at the helm, how do I know that he is not the culprit, that he's at the eye of the storm because he's so inexperienced and doesn't have the room and or the respect of the players? Because at the end of the day, it's all about communication. It's not about X's and O's. It's whether you can communicate with these players. He just looks like a bumpkin at this point.
Yeah.
He looks like a guy who fell off the turnip truck, who ended up on Market Street and is like, oh, somebody came up to me and wanted to look at my wallet. And I said, well, here you go. And That guy won't believe it. He ran off with the darn thing. I'll tell you what. I don't know where that came from. He just seems like
sound like those crows from Dumbo.
He seems like
Oh, that's not offensive.
Forrest Gump. He seems like Gomer Pyle at this point. I don't know what it is.
Tony is as Tony does.
I don't know what it is that he brings. I don't know any of the things that maybe Buster Posey would be better to answer this. That whatever he thought that he was getting with this guy
Well,
would
I don't
be
think they've gotten
the
that.
polar opposite of Bob Melvin. That he'd be relatable with the young players. No, he's not. He's not relatable to the young players. The way he handles the young players is absolutely, that's one of the biggest eyesores and maybe at the top of the list in terms of the things that he's done wrong when it comes to Eldridge, when it comes to Barracoto and these young players. And
well, I think he's been given a roster that was made very difficult to work in some of these younger players. Like,
But Sam, I'm going to cut you off. I'm hearing a lot of excuses that this isn't on him. And I hear what you're saying, that he didn't put this bullpen together. That bullpen's a mess, and we all knew it going into the season. I get that. And that a lot of this roster, but at what point do we then turn and look at him and saying, well, you may not be the part of the, you didn't put
you
this
may not be
roster
part of the
together.
problem, but you may not be part of the solution.
Thank you.
No, and I think that's kind of to be the next step for him. And again, go back to what Keith Law joining the roast on Tuesday. He said the solution, Tony needs to take charge.
Vitello needs to take charge. That's going to require the front office also having his back. It may also mean he needs to have someone else on his staff who's a more experienced manager or has more experience on a big league bench to try to help guide him in some of these situations, because it's just, you're managing a different type. You're managing older people who make a lot more money and don't need you and probably look at you, right? Ravi Devers says, I got an 8-year deal. Tony, you only got a 3-year deal and you're on a nice edge right now. He's like, I can outlast you. That's true, but you really don't want that dynamic in the clubhouse. So I think there are a lot of steps they need to take to try to repair the situation, to make it clear. Either make it clear Tony Vitello is our manager, he will be our manager, and you need to respect his authority, or they need to move on.
I see. I back up Keith on that one. I think they do need to reaffirm their support behind Tony. I want Tony to take control of that clubhouse by any means necessary. I want to go to Steven Risotto in a minute, but if I put it out there, who would you rather see stay? Who would you rather see go? Tony or Rafi?
Both of them.
Well, no, you got to pick one. That's the game. You can't pick both.
Rafi.
You would see Rafi go?
Because he's got a 10-year deal. Vitello's got a 3-year deal.
So you would rather see Rafi go, not Tony?
Rafi.
Okay. Well, yes, Rafi's going.
Would I want between those two? You asked me.
One has to.
Yeah,
okay.
Rafael Devers is who I'd like to say before Tony Vitello. As bad as Tony Vitello is.
Okay, I was trying to clear. Same. I would rather keep Tony and let Rafi go.
Was I supposed to support what it is that I had to say?
No, I want to clarify your answer. It's all good. Steven Risotto, what's your...
He asked me one or the other. I said Rafael.
Yeah, okay, no, Risotto, what do you got?
No, I was going to kind of piggyback off the point that Dan made about how Tony Vitello and company has handled the young players. And I think just to narrow it down a little bit, we could focus on the bench. And I don't know if you guys know this, but did you know that Buddy Kennedy is still on the roster?
I did, yeah.
Buddy Kennedy Tony Vitello doesn't use his bench. Buddy Kennedy hasn't had a plate appearance since June 10th. That's 17 days ago. Wow. He has not had a plate appearance since the Giants, that Bryce Eldridge game.
Has he gotten in on the field as like a defense? No,
he has not appeared in a game. So one thing I will say is that these guys are being run out there every day. Jonah Cox was hitting 400 in the minor leagues, and he gets brought up. He doesn't really play. So it's like these guys really don't play. And I don't know if we know what kind of manager Tony Vitello is, but I think if you're still the manager of a bad team, there are things you could do right. You could just put in, a bullpen guy, and it's a good matchup on paper, the best matchup you're capable of, and you could, lose that matchup just because your talent's not good, but you just don't switch it up.
Well, I think it's difficult. He's got a roster to get in Chapman, Adames, Arias, Devers, those guys never want to come out of the lineup. Like Casey Schmidt's got to be in the lineup every day. Like
that's on him to go to them and saying you're coming. He is not the manager.
That's why he has to take charge.
But you can't say you have to take charge. That's either in the gene pool or it's not. Yeah. You know why he gets a pass? I think it's because he's a good-looking guy with a chiseled chin, and he sits there at the corner of the end.
I think it's because the issues are just so much bigger than him. That's why I honestly think let's pick this conversation up on the other side. Of the Giants better off with or without Tony, Rafi, Buster? Maybe they're better off with one and not the other two, or they're better off with two, not the other one. We'll keep peeling this back. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap, brought to you by Fremont Bank, here for you, here for good.
If you're still using a sports book to bet on the soccer tournament, you're getting robbed. Delete that app and join the millions using Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. Trade against other fans, not the house. Polymarket, your go-to prediction market for soccer's biggest stage. Available in all 50 states. Download the Polymarket app. Use promo code BLAZE to unlock $50 free for your first trade. That's promo code BLAZE. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
Hey, baseball fans, want to turn your good deed into game day? This June, donate blood with Stanford Blood Center and score 2 free tickets to see the San Francisco Giants in action. No batting average required, just a little time and a big heart. In about an hour, you can help save lives, and we'll send you to the ballpark to celebrate. So grab a friend, roll up your sleeve, and make it a double play. Help patients in need and catch a Giants game at Oracle Park. Visit StanfordBloodCenter.org to book your appointment today. Stanford Blood Center, where heroes win big.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. With burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and local service, our promise to the Bay Area remains the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
And the match is about to begin.
Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight.
What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field.
It's a dog, but they could do with extra players.
She's going for the ball.
Are front paws hands or feet?
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know. Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
Hey, it's Dan Dibley. The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every match from the opening stage all the way to the final, and you can even trade on who wins the whole thing. And right now, Argentina is trading at 14% to win the entire thing. And if you put $100 in your trade, that would net a $642 payout. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code DIBS, D-I-B-S, to get $10 when you trade 10, K-A-L-S-H-I, Kalshi. Trade the beautiful game. 18 and over only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned here. For more information, see Kalshi.com/ Regulatory.
We all know what the two best words in sports are. Game 7. But the number 7 has even more meaning in vodka. Because when a vodka is 7 times distilled, it creates a smooth, premium taste that is unbeatable. And there's no better vodka than New Vodka. Spelled N-U-E, New Vodka is 7 times distilled, not 7 times the price. It's an award-winning, American-made vodka that is smooth enough to sip and bold enough to mix. So at a time when everything costs more, New Vodka is the best deal in town. Pick up a bottle of New Vodka at your local liquor store today and cheers to something new. Visit newvodka.com to find out more. That's NUEvodka.com.
You hear that? That can only mean one thing. Your WNBA team, the Golden State Valkyries, are back, and you don't want to miss a single moment in Valhalla. You can feel the energy. Get your tickets now at Valkyries.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Line to right. Barrett got up, dives, and he got it.
Yeah, Trevor McDonald digs it.
You bet.
Barracoto to center field and deep. It is gone. He's done it again.
My goodness.
And another towering home run. 445 for the second day in a row. The man is inspired. 6-2 Giants.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Ooh, Barracoto. I see what you're doing there, Risotto. Risotto, Barracoto. Oh. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Hey, we're on YouTube. Make sure you're signing up to become a member of Game Pass Pro on 95.7 The Game's YouTube channel. Get access to private AMAs with the host, exclusive content from events, and in-depth insight after the biggest games. Go on YouTube, search 95.7 The Game, and sign up now to become a member of Game Pass Pro. Comes to Rafi Devers, Tony Vitello, Buster Posey. Would the Giants be better off with or without them? Why do I ask that question? Well, we had Keith Law on the Morning Roast the other day. He basically said Giants need to decide whether they're better off with or without. I believe it was about Buster Posey, though.
It's a sunk cost, right? Vitello's paid what he's paid. So the decision to keep Vitello should be, do we think we're better off with him or without him? And if they've made the decision, for whatever reason, we want to move on from him, then I'd say yes. I would say let baseball ops hire the next manager. Let Zach Managian and his group actually make the hire. But this is the problem, is Buster is the guy who just sort of parachuted in and is saying, do this, do this, do this, do this. No, you have an entire staff of really talented, really smart people from Managian on down who can do this. And hiring the manager is a pretty important thing for a GM and a front office to do. Let them do this with a real process.
So that was Keith Law on Tuesday on the Morning Roast. Giants need to decide whether or not they're better off with or without Tony Vitello, with Buster Posey making these decisions here as the head of baseball operations. Keith went on to say that a lot of the baseball ops decisions have been very good, citing the performance of the farm system right now. He's very high on Zach Managian, and through all this, I got to wonder what is going to happen with Zach Managian out of all this. What's going to happen to a lot of these guys after this season? Because this is the kind of season where, there's a chance they could turn things around and go on a run, but more than likely, this is going to be a team that's going to be finishing with somewhere between 95 and 100 losses. And in a season like that, with this fan base, they're going to demand that at least one head roll after this year. Someone's going to have to be that head. And I do wonder, just because of how this business works sometimes, Dan, if Zach Managian is going to be the proverbial head that's hung up for the masses to cheer at the end of this season.
Well, you know me. The sacrificial lamb is one Tony, last name Vitello. I do not you cannot bring him back at this point. I wouldn't take that risk. He hasn't shown me one quality as to why he should be a manager of a Major League Baseball team. And we can go over and parse through whether the way he handles the bench or the lack thereof or the bullpen, and he's been handed this crap sandwich. We get all of that. But at the end of the day, does this guy have a big league personality? Does this guy have the respect? Does he have the sort of persona of somebody that could be a leader of a Major League Baseball franchise? To me, he looks exactly like who it is that he is, and that is a successful college baseball coach, and not somebody who should be at the Major League level. And maybe things will change in the second half of the season, but my mind is made up that you have to end this relationship sooner rather than later. I know a lot of people are giving him a pass, again, because he looks good with his chiseled chin there sitting in the corner of the dugout. If this dude
he's very personable with the media, which I think that's good too. You know, I don't know if he enjoys talking to us.
Getting ridiculous. His quotes.
He's getting better with them sometimes. He's getting a little bit shorter with his answers. He's not as long-winded as he used to be. I think he's getting better with those things there. But
he did not have a good week, Sam.
No, he did not have the best of weeks. He's had a lot, but no one's having good weeks with this team this year. It's not like, and this is the thing when you say, well, if Tony has to go, then at that point, I do think. I look at it like this. When it comes to Buster and Tony, I don't think you can move off of one and then not move off of the other. If Buster decides after this year that, you know what, this isn't the right move with Tony, which, by the way, apparently this was Zach Manazian's idea. He goes back saying Zach was the original one who came up with this one. That's why I think he would be the sacrificial lamb for this one here if they do decide to roll ahead just to roll ahead, you know, after the season. But if Buster does decide to move off of Tony Vitello, I don't know if I feel good about him hiring another manager. I don't know if I would do that. Like, you already botched this one so badly, and this season went so off the rails. There was such an abdication of leadership that we saw throughout this season. Like, forget the pride stuff. You went in to address the Rafi situation with the media without even talking to Rafi first. Like, how does that happen? How do you not at least call him or be like, hey, Rafi, I got to go meet with these people in a few minutes. Can we chat really quick? Like, do something like that. So if Buster moves off Tony, I think you got to move off Buster too. Conversely, at the end of the year, let's say Buster decides to step down. Yeah, I'm not cut out for this, or I don't want to do this anymore, blah, blah, blah. I don't see another general manager, president of baseball operations coming in and saying, well, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot with this guy, this, you know, college manager that I inherited. So if one goes, I do feel like the other is going to go as well.
Or the other way of looking at that is that either Manazian, whoever it is that hired Tony Vitello, it's sort of like tearing a script from the playbook of Farhan Zaidi, right? Like, he gets rid of Kapler before they get rid of him.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of like, I look at John Lynch with the Niners as the same way. Like, he's kind of like a shield for Kyle Shanahan. When things go south, Lynch will be the first one fired, and that's kind of like the shot across the bow to Kyle. Hey, you're next man up. Turn this around. We're a ways away from that happening with the Niners. I'm just using that as an example. I agree with you, Dan. If, like, Manazian going would be the shot across the bow. Hey, there's the warning shot. Buster, you got to turn this around.
I think this really, I don't know. Again, blaming Vitello, maybe that's not where the crosshairs should be. I'm just trying to think of a manager that's going to righten this ship. And even if things were to turn around next year, is he the guy that's going to do it? I'm not doing this to be a wise guy, but I'm trying to think of redeeming qualities going forward when we think about what it is that he's done up to this point.
Yeah.
And now that we've seen a good sample size of the body of work, like, this dude, to me, is a coconut. He's a bumpkin.
He was supposed to be brought in, I think, the big thing he was brought in to do was they wanted to bring in a different energy and a different culture. And I think you saw that a little bit in spring training. Like, I remember being around this team in spring training. It's like, wow, these guys seem really excited to get to this season. Now, one thing, and I didn't really bring this up at the time, but it was something that stuck out to me, and maybe I should have brought this up sooner. During the week that I was in spring training, I interact with a lot of the players, whether it was Gage or Walker or played Tidwell or Bryce Eldridge or Drew Gilbert. I did not really see a whole lot of Chapman, Adames, and Devers. Those three were kind of off doing their own thing most of the time. Now, granted, they're the three high-priced veterans, and I heard before I was there, it was those three and Luis Arias always hanging out together. So maybe it's neither here nor there, but I did think it was interesting that you had the entire team And then you had those three. I thought that was kind of an interesting dynamic, but it felt like to me the biggest goal for Tony Vitello was this is a good team that was just sleepwalking last year. So we need a guy who's got to come in here, who's a little bit younger, bring a little bit more energy and kind of fire up this clubhouse a little bit. And that'll be what this team needs to go from 81-81 to 86, 87, 88 wins, be in the thick of that wild card race, and then go forward from there. That was before we thought this bullpen would be, that was before we realized this bullpen was an absolute nightmare. And I think that was before we realized that I don't know how much Willie and Rafi are truly buying in on what's going on right now. I think that's a part of it as well. And you're seeing that kind of crescendo here with what Rafi Devers did in the last week. I've always felt, Dan, that if Tony Vitello inherited a roster full of young rookies or 24, 25-year-old kids, that would have been a better team for Tony to work with. Getting in basically with all these kids at the ground level and developing up with them, so to speak. Like imagine if Tony had an entire, clubhouse full of Drew Gilberts, basically. That, I think, would have been better off for him than inheriting the roster that he did inherit this year.
Well, again, if I was to use the example of his relationship with the younger players in this baseball team as any sort of a measuring stick or a barometer, I can't arrive at that conclusion. It's not as though he has a special relationship with Bryce Eldridge or any of these younger players. In fact, I think he's inhibited their growth. And so it's not, again, I can't point at one thing and saying, yeah, he works well with these kids, despite the fact that the team has been so poorly. He does this or he does that. He's just a guy who stands there, takes his lumps, and gets a pass because I think he's got these Hollywood chops. Seriously.
I don't think it's just because it's good looks.
I'm telling you.
I think it's more nuanced than that.
If it was Tony La Russa at age 80, the 80-year-old version of Tony La Russa standing there at that dugout, piling up all these losses and doing the exact same things that Tony Vitello has been doing, what would we be saying?
Well, here, I'll do you
look
one.
At that guy.
I'll do you one better. Let's go back to 2016, the previous holder of the worst bullpen in Giants history. 30 blown saves that year, I believe, is a franchise record. And they had the greatest manager in this organization's history pushing all the buttons, and Bruce Bochy. Bochy had a bullpen that was just, you could not win with it that year. It was a bullpen that was as bad as this year's bullpen. And no one was pointing at Bochy that year saying, well, this guy doesn't have it anymore. Everyone was pointing at the bullpen saying, what's he supposed to do? I think it's a similar situation. When you give Tony a no-win situation, I don't know if you can really blame him when he comes out with no wins, essentially. So I don't think it's just
Bochy
he looks
built up
good.
Equity.
Yes, Bochy did have equity. I'm not dismissing that. But I think it's a situation where, what has Tony shown this year? How can he show anything with the hand that he has been dealt? I don't think a lot of managers.
Is he blameless?
No, he's made mistakes. He's screwed up. There's been bullpen decisions I haven't liked. The having guys pitch across innings. I think he's been slowed. Like Caleb Killian on Thursday, I thought he let him go one batter too soon. Lawrence Butler got that base hit to make it 7-6. You can still get back into a game like that. He lets, Killian's clearly on the ropes. He lets him face Max Muncy. Max Muncy gets a base hit, the other Max Muncy, not the fat one in L.A. He gets a base hit and all of a sudden becomes 9-6. And a game where you could maybe get back into it now seems more out of reach. Those are issues, yeah. I will shake my stick at Tony Vitello doing that all the live long day. Tony's not the first manager to go to the wrong guy, though. Tony's not the first manager to leave a guy in one batter too long. Those are mistakes that even the most seasoned managers can make there.
That's not how I measure whether a guy's effective or not. Well, let me just ask you another question. Do you think he's a good communicator? Do you think he has the respect to that locker room? Do you think he has the personality of a major league manager that can take a baseball team deep into the playoffs and or be somebody that commands, again, the entire room when he walks into it? Say what you will about Steve Kerr. I don't think he's the appropriate coach for this version, this iteration of the Golden State Warriors, but we all know that we know who the coaches of the Warriors.
I think he did at first. Going back to spring training, the excitement that these guys had to play for Tony that year. I'll never really get what Matt Gage said.
Spring training doesn't mean anything if it doesn't translate to the regular season.
Well, no, that's what I'm getting at there. But when Matt Gage is guys really perk up when Tony walks in. I do think that there was some buy-in at some point. But then you did see cracks start to form where I do think this roster started to maybe doubt what was going on with him. When Tony says, maybe I was a little too fired up, too much fire and brimstone that first week, and Robbie Ray's like, we're professionals. It's fine. When Tony's saying things like, into the Jesse Rogers story that came out on ESPN last week. We talked about on the show last week, Dan. Tony's like, yeah, we had some issues that boiled over. We got them taken care of. It was nobody's fault. And Eric Haas is like, I won't say it's boiled over, just some course correcting. Those are some concerning situations there. So I don't know how he is at handling issues behind the scene. That's where I get into maybe a younger roster with guys who aren't like, the more established guys like the Rafi Deverses, the Willie Adameses, who maybe might look at Tony and be like, well, I've been in this game for 10 years and I got this deal. You haven't been in this game before and you got a 3-year deal. What are you going to do about it? That would be difficult for any manager in that position. Now, I will say this, and you've kind of alluded to this in the past, like the team like the Giants should not be a proving ground for people who have never done this before. You could say that about Tony with this team. I would even say you can go back to Farhan Zaidi, who had never run a team before, and then all of a sudden he is thrust into power running this team. Like guys like Farhan Zaidi, guys like Zach Managian, guys like Tony Vitello probably would have been better off starting off with a smaller market team like, Minnesota or Cincinnati or Kansas City.
I don't think you can start in the majors. I don't think that there's a small market team. I think you make your mistakes somewhere else. As a manager, I give the example of Pat Murphy. Pat Murphy also came from the college ranks, but he sat on the Padre bench. He was a minor league manager. He was an interim manager before getting
We went through the process. Yeah, and I do wonder how people look at Tony around the league and get irritated at him for, cutting the line, as some people might say. That might piss some people off. And I do think there are a lot of people out there who want Tony to fail. They see these crises going on, and they're like, serves him right. He didn't deserve to be in there in the first place. That I don't appreciate. Like,
you don't appreciate it, but it might be right at the end of the day.
Well, I want to give him the chance to prove himself. Give him the chance to screw up and fail before we say, oh, yeah, we were right about you. Like, the rooting, it's the fact that without even formulating an opinion on him, you're seeing people who want him to fail. That is what frustrates me in this whole situation with Tony Vitello. That is why I said at the beginning of the year, playoffs are not the goal. The goal is Tony needs to be comfortable managing this team by the end of the year. We're 81 games in. Can he increase that comfort level over the next 81 games? In terms of achieving that simple goal that I laid out, right now I don't think they're achieving that, this organization. And that is going to be a problem for them moving forward. You want to talk to our guy?
Who's this?
Ruderman.
Oh, is it that time of the show?
It's that time of the show. He's hopeful that Tony's going to be back next year. So I'd be curious to hear his thoughts on what makes Tony such a great manager.
We don't need to go into details of baseball. We're just here for one reason.
Well, the Ruderman show. You asked the question, what are Tony's redeeming qualities as a manager? Let's hear Stephen Ruderman's thoughts on Tony's redeeming qualities as a manager. What's going on, Stephen?
Hey, guys, how are you?
Can I set you up? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time once again for Ruderman.
He doesn't really know what to do with that introduction there. Stephen, we're having this Tony Vitello conversation here. What would you say is the redeeming qualities of Tony Vitello?
I don't know if I would say anything redeeming. I was saying the same thing about Pat Murphy. I've been telling you, Sam, and I've been saying this to other people. I think it's obvious that the Giants have been rebuilding since the deadline last July. And I think what would have been the best move is to let Bob finish out the final year of his contract, bring Tony in to manage it, maybe Double-A or something like that. And then once they inevitably have this season and they trade away vets and are deeper into the rebuild, then bring them up to the show next season. That's what I think they should have done. I love Tony coming here. He's got the fire. He's got the passion that I think is needed out of a big league manager. And I think you have patience with him and he'll be a good big league manager. I just think he was brought in a year too early.
Yeah, fire and passion. We're not watching the same manager, and I don't know that's translated to in terms of wins and losses.
Look at him in Tennessee. Very fiery, very passionate manager, but here with the big club, in the big leagues, he's managing scared. Look at what he did with Rafael Devers and how Devers showed him up. And this goes back to May when Devers hit that leadoff triple in the bottom of the 8th inning against the Pirates on Mother's Day. The leadoff double that should have been a triple, but he was washing a shot And then that ended up costing the Giants the run. They came within an out of losing that game by a run, so almost cost the Giants the game. There was the drop pop-up in the sun that he was thrown out at first on May 23rd against the White Sox. When Tony didn't bench him after that, that set the stage for what happened Sunday in Miami.
Yeah, so
and what a manager needs to do is make a statement that this kind of stuff will not be tolerated. Now, if Billy Martin was around after that leadoff double, which could have been triple, there would have been a pinch runner in there right there.
And a fight in the dugout, too, probably.
He got that, Billy would have torn into him.
No, I absolutely agree with you, Steven.
He shouldn't be out there following it.
So then why do you like this guy?
Very, very,
yeah, I think you're supporting my case, but why is it that you, and it seems as though a lot of people, for whatever reason, are giving him the benefit of the doubt? And I don't understand it.
Well, because Tony was, as I said, Tony was brought in a year too early. They should have let Bob finish out this year, brought in Tony to manage in the minor leagues, and then after they traded the vets at the deadline this year, and they were deeper into the rebuild next year and had more of the kids coming up, then bring in Tony to manage when they were deeper into the rebuild. What they really did was they brought Tony here a year too early.
Hey, Steven, what did you make of Buster coming out to talk to the media when he hadn't even talked to Rafi yet?
That was a circus. And I got to tell you, Rafi's interview, Posey's interview was its own thing, but Rafi's interview was really bad. When Rafi went out and said, well, this is why I don't talk to the media. You guys blow everything out of proportion. This was a guy openly showing up as manager and then throwing a hissy fit when he was taken out of the game. There's no excuse for that. And what I'm just going to tell you bluntly is this is the kind of guy who's a cancer in the clubhouse. I want you guys to think about this. The Giants were 11 games over 500 when they made the Rafi trade last June 15th. It was a week after the Rafi trade. And remember, there was the thing where he didn't go and he blew off Will Clark to work at first base. And then it was a week after he came over that the collapse of last season started. It was after that the Red Sox, who had been a 500 team, went on a flukish run and went to the playoffs. In baseball, a good clubhouse, it can take just one bad apple to completely destroy a good clubhouse. And as much as we all love Barry Bonds, we have to be honest about something here. The Giants never won a championship with Barry Bonds here. Bonds had 4 lockers, had his own special treatment. If you ever watched Bonds on Bonds, he was flying on his own private plane and not with the team. It's situations like that teams don't win. What was the big thing when the Giants were winning their world championships? Clubhouse chemistry. 25 guys, one common goal. And I don't think it was a coincidence that they won 3 titles in their first 7 years without Bonds. And when you bring in someone like Rafael Devers, as I said, just one guy can ruin a clubhouse.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
a hell of a
exactly
take.
what has happened.
No, this is a guy who's always been very against the big name contracts, some that he and I argue about a lot. And his skepticism towards the big name contracts has finally paid off here. Steven, I asked Buster on Tuesday about the record since acquiring Rafi, and I wanted you to hear what Buster said about it, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you on why that has happened the way that it has. You can go back and look at Rafi's career numbers and make an argument that has been one of the elite hitters in the league. So I don't have a great answer for you.
So not a great answer there from Buster Posey. What do you think of that answer? Just the leadership that Buster has shown this week, or lack thereof.
Very. Yeah. And I'm giving Buster the benefit of the doubt. I hope he's around next season. I think he has done a very good job with the farm system. He's done a very bad job in terms of the team on the field this season. But that answer was basically reflective of a young and overly ambitious president of baseball operations who wanted to make a big splash, but really overdid it in his first year. And people should have seen this coming. We saw how, and granted the Red Sox could have handled that, but we saw how Rafi behaved in his final months with the Red Sox. This should have been seen from a million miles away. Buster.
Hey, it's that time of the show. We got to cut you off there, Ruderman. It's that time of the show where you get the Ruderman recall. Do you want to set this up?
Steve, I want you to call your version of Rafi telling Jonah Cox not to pinch run for him.
All right, 2-1 Marlins here in the top of the 9th inning, and Devers draws the walk. And his tying run will be at first to start the inning. And it looks like Jonah Costa is going to come into pinch run. Rafael Devers does not want to be pinch run for. He's wagging his finger at Tony Vitello. I don't know what's going on here. Jonah Costa looks just as we are. The first base umpire, Nate Tomlinson's now having to tell Cox to get in there. And Rafi's going to leave the game, and he is going to let his displeasure be quite known as he is walking off very upset. He gets into the dugout. Someone tries to pat him on the behind, and he moves his behind out of the way like my cat when I try and pet her on the back. Oh, this is not good, folks. You did not have someone showing up your manager like this. And,
the Ruderman replay, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Steven. I'll see you at the ballpark tomorrow, bud.
Ruderman replay each and every week brought to you by, we got to get a sponsor.
Fremont Bank, here for you, here for good.
Shop Smart & Final for everything you need to celebrate America's 250th. Celebrate 250 years with deals on cookout favorites. This 4th, shop club sizes with no membership fees. For your chance to score a gift card courtesy of Smart & Final, visit 957thegame.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
This is Larry Flick, owner of the Floor Store. July 4th is one holiday that lights up our country, and our 4th of July sale is here to light up your home. So from now to July 6th, everything in our stores will be 25% off. That's carpet, hardwood, laminate, waterproof flooring, and much more. If we sell it, it's 25% off. Add 2 years free financing, and you won't need fireworks. Visit floorstores.com to find the nearest of our 11 Bay Area showrooms. From Santa Rosa to San Jose, the Floor Store, your Bay Area flooring authority.
Honey, did you invite the minions over?
Hello. Well, you know how we talked about getting Wi-Fi from Xfinity?
Yeah.
I ordered it this morning, was online in minutes, then they showed up.
So they just came over to use the Wi-Fi?
They even brought their own devices and spell book.
You didn't give them the new Wi-Fi password, right?
No.
That's good.
I gave them our old one. Because Xfinity lets us keep the same network name and password so devices connect instantly.
What do they want Wi-Fi for anyways?
Better not to know. Plausible deniability.
Get streaming or scheming instantly with same-day Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Plus, lock in one price for the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi for 5 years. Guaranteed. And see Minions and Monsters only in theaters. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Pros, save more on what you need to get the job done right. Right now at Lowe's. Get 15% off select custom entry and interior doors. Plus, save $80 on the DeWalt 20-volt Max 2-tool combo kit. Now just $169. And at the Lowe's Pro Desk, bring us your materials list and get a quote in minutes. Handwritten, a photo, or even a sticky note is all you need. Keep your jobs moving faster and on budget at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Alameda County Fair in Pleasanton is June 19th through July 12th. The Big O Tires Concert Series has all-star acts like Beach Boys, Flo Rida, Elle King, The Maine, and Tower of Power. Plus, the Gene Simmons Band, Lone Star, and more. Full lineup at AlamendaCountyFair.com.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each. $30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Oak Cliff Speed Test Intelligence Data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
It's the golden hour of the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Sam Mullen alongside Dan Devone, Steven Risotto pushing all the buttons behind us, or behind the glass, sorry.
Can I say something about ABS? You just mentioned ABS.
I did just mention ABS because we were talking about the really short player for what was the White Sox, right? In like 1937?
51.
51? Close enough.
And it was,
what was the White Sox, right?
It was Bill Veeck, but I don't think it was the White Sox. Smallest player to appear in St. Louis Browns.
Eddie Goodell.
Eddie Goodell. Yeah,
you see, Risotto knows that.
Yeah. So you mentioned ABS. You know what I've been watching, which I'm not sure if you're a World Cup guy, but I've been watching the World Cup, and I have to tell you.
I've been dabbling.
I watch it on Telemundo, which is...
Oh, absolutely. That's the best way to watch.
Absolutely the best. And it's so uninterrupted. And to see that there's no instant replay. They can go to it, but they never do. I've watched about, I don't know, maybe 8 matches, and not once has there been instant replay. But to watch an entire sporting event uninterrupted, including no commercials, no instant replay, I'm thinking, my God, this is the way it should be. I get it. We're all consumed with video replay and ABS, and now it's the NFL, the NBA.
Well, there's some replay in soccer, but not.
There is, but it's very minimal. Like I said, I've watched about 6 games in its entirety, and it goes the full 90 minutes, and then, of course, they add on the extra time. But it was so pleasant to watch a sporting event that didn't have stoppage every 5 minutes. In the NBA, there's nothing worse. Was that a flagrant foul? I don't know. And
let's spend the next 20 minutes staring at a video screen.
That's my 2 cents of the day.
Well, I think it's always funny, like, when you watch soccer and there's no commercials and it's so seamless. And I think part of it's only a few moments in each game that's even like worth replaying. But I always remember as a kid watching NFL football when I first got into it, it's like, why does it seem like there's a commercial after every play? My favorite is like those moments where it's like touchdown, go to commercial, kickoff, go to commercial. There's just too many damn commercials. Like, people would always bitch and moan, like, oh, these baseball games are too long. Well, yeah, let's maybe not stuff 4.5 minutes of ads in between innings.
Well, maybe things make their money. It's all sponsorship. But
we had an argument on the morning roast yesterday morning about the hydration break. Are you for it or against it?
What is that?
So like halfway through each half in the World Cup, they've been doing hydration breaks, where they stop the action for like 3-4 minutes and let the players drink some water.
Or they take a timeout.
Yeah. It's basically it's turned soccer, which is supposed to be a sport based off of 2 halves, into a sport of 4 quarters, essentially. Because, about the 20 to 25 minute mark, they do the hydration break. And then at around the 70-ish minute mark, they do, the 65 to 70-ish mark, they do another hydration break.
Well, before I say don't like it, why did they implement it?
Well, I guess it was FIFA implemented it back in 2022 when the World Cup was in Qatar because reasons. The reasons being, hey, FIFA's corrupt. And so they had it in Qatar, which is
I thought you were going to say, it was because they needed to be replenished.
Yeah, no, because it's hot in Qatar.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, we had the World Cup in one of the hottest places in the world. Yeah, let's do it, which makes sense. Again, the reason that the World Cup was in Qatar was because there's like, hey, FIFA, what if we give you a bunch of money to hold the tournament in a place that it never should have been held in? Let's do that. That won't go wrong. And many, many human rights violations later, Qatar was the host of the World Cup. And so I guess they're bringing that to this World Cup here in the Americas, Mexico, Canada, and America. And yeah, some soccer fans have not liked it because it makes the two halves feel like four quarters, which obviously flies against what soccer's supposed to be about.
Traditional soccer, yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to
be the same way. I have a really quick on Qatar. I have a friend who flew out and was at a hotel and is going to the match coming up on Wednesday with the United States. Is that Wednesday?
Oh, down at San Francisco Bay Area Stadium.
Yeah, so he went to Levi for, I'm not sure what match. Oh, it was Qatar. He went to go see Qatar, speaking of which. And he said in the hotel, there are all these sheiks, right? With the
fun.
Full-on headgear and like hundreds of them. Not one woman. Not one female.
That sounds like a place.
Right.
That it does. That it does. But anyway, yeah, so we got into a big argument about that. I agree. I'm not a big soccer guy, Dan. As soon as the World Cup's over, I'm going to stop pretending that I care about soccer and go back to living my life as I normally do, which is enjoying sports that are not soccer. I am as casual.
I like soccer.
Yeah, I mean, you told me about how your story about how you went to a match in, what was it, England or whatever, and it completely changed your opinion of how soccer is. I mean, I went to a Portland Timbers match a few years ago and seeing how they get in. It was like, yeah, I can see how people can get really into soccer. I'm not, but I can see how others do.
What's fascinating about the World Cup, and maybe this is sort of an indictment on me in geography, I didn't realize all these countries are in this world that I have no idea where they're from. Like, are you kidding me? Cape Verde is a country?
Yeah, it's off the coast of Africa.
I had no idea. Or who's this? The Bosnia now has
Herzegovina. Yeah, they're one of those Balkan states or whatever, and around like Albania and Croatia.
Well, you're much smarter than I am. These countries are just
all those
really
former Ottoman Empire nations. One of those ones there.
Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire was rebuked by the Austrians. Defeated.
Oh, who cares?
So here's a little nugget for you.
Hey, let's learn some history lessons today,
Stephen. So the Austrians were able to defeat the Ottoman Empire. We all know the Ottoman Empire just ruled the world essentially for centuries.
They were big time for a long time.
And so to spite the Ottoman Empire, which essentially was the Turks, right? Or they were of the Muslim faith, and so they had the crescent shape, right? Which was their symbol, the crescent.
Okay.
They created, and this is the Austrians that created this, the croissant. And the croissant, this baked good, was done in spite of, I
would never guess this.
Essentially because they defeated the Ottoman Empire and stole, essentially out of spite, made this this baked good of this crescent. And then forward 100 years later, where Marie Antoinette marries into French royalty, brings this Austrian baker who replicates the croissant, which was created in Austria, but now is affiliated and associated with France.
I did not know that about the croissant.
Look it up.
So the whole... Wow! So what you're saying is the croissant was basically built out of pettiness.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that.
All right.
No wonder croissants are so yummy. It's because of all the petty that's in them.
And the butter.
Speaking of petty... No, this isn't petty.
Speaking of Ottoman...
Buster Posey. That was easily my worst transition ever. We've been asking the question, are the Giants better off with or without Rafi Devers? Are they better off with or without Tony Vitello? I think there's some jury still out on Tony, though it's trending in the wrong direction right now after 81 games.
With you, the jury's out, not with me.
There's still 81 games left. I'm simply giving him a full 162 before I render my judgment.
What if he had a big honker and warts and was balding?
Oh, give me that big honker, baby.
I'm just saying, I think the opinion would be, this guy sucks.
Listen, I base baseball merits off of if you know ball, you know ball. If you don't know ball, you don't know ball.
You don't know ball.
I do believe that Tony Vitello knows ball. I don't know if he knows it at the big league level, but right now, this is not trending in a good direction. It's trending in a direction where none of this is working. Maybe you got to wipe the slate clean coming into next year with a whole new cast of characters running the show. That is kind of where this is careening at to right now. I'm not saying that is going to happen. I mean, again, I'm a Giants fan. I'm going to root for everyone to figure it out so we can do this again next year. But properly, not with the same raw. Right now, I would be in favor of keeping Tony Vitello next year. This year you learned your lesson. Let's figure it out next year. Rafi Devers, I do think this team would be better off moving off of him just because it allows you to fully focus in on Bryce Eldridge. And I just don't know if he's truly a fit with this organization, with this culture here in San Francisco. But Buster Posey, are the Giants better off with or without him? I love Buster. He's forever going to be one of my favorite athletes in Bay Area sports history. Gave me countless great memories. He will have a statue outside this ballpark someday. His 28 should never be worn by anybody in the orange and black ever again. I look forward to him getting inducted into the Hall of Fame someday.
But that's part of the issue, what you're saying right now.
Well, I'm getting there. But
people are conflating the two.
I separate the two. Buster the player is not Buster the executive. Buster Chris Mullin with the Warriors is separated from his greatness as a player from his time as an executive, which was an absolute disaster. No one thinks about Mully as the failed executive of the Warriors anymore. I do not believe that Buster's legacy with the Giants is going to be the failed executive. It's going to be the great baseball player who took a job that maybe in hindsight he probably should not have taken. I love that he wanted to come back in and be the guy to pull this team out of the doldrums. I love that he saw where this organization was going under Farhan Zaidi and took it upon himself to be like, I can't stomach this. I can't stand to see what this organization that took such great care of me for all those years, had so much success, created this great run, these 3 championships. Buster is a Giants fan. He's not just playing for the team. He is a true fan. How many fans have wanted to say, let me manage this team? How many fans have fired up MLB The Show and gone to GM mode just because they want that thrill of being able to say they could fix their team? Buster did that, and I'm always going to be grateful that he took it upon himself to do that. That does not guarantee a happy ending, unfortunately. And I think what we're seeing right now is a guy who the desire was there, kind of a lot like Hank. Hank had the passion. Don't know if he had the process. Love Buster, what he's trying to bring to this team. It's just not working out. And I think you're seeing a lot of that lack of experience really blowing up in Buster's face. Overpaying for Willy Adames. Jumping on the Rafi Devers situation when there were so many red flags. Buster thought, hey, here's a situation where I can finally get that star hitter we've been looking for, that we've been missing, and I'm going to pounce on the Red Sox in duress. And the Red Sox were like, well, hey, yeah, we'll gladly let you take our trash. We're not going to call it that because we want to sell this guy. But Buster, in a sense, kind of got duped a little bit on thinking that he could fix Rafi Devers. He's not the first executive to do that, but he was also an experienced one. And I think this, Dan, really kind of goes to show the importance of hiring experienced people to do this job. It's why I think Farhan didn't work out here, because he wasn't experienced in that particular role. And it's starting to wear on. We're starting to see it with Buster Posey.
So what does this mean? Do you bring him back next year?
Right now, I'm going to sit on the fence. The jury's still out. Because, Dan, I still think Buster can turn this around. If he can move off of Rafi Devers and Willy Adames at this trade deadline, I will consider that a clean slate. I also think there's another guy. You got to move off Robbie Ray, because he's not coming back at all.
Oh, that's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, no, you're not getting draft pick compensation for him because you're not going to offer him a qualifying offer. So Robbie Ray is absolutely gone. And then
you'll get quality in return for him.
Oh no, I'm saying like when you hit free agency, you can extend the qualifying offer to players, and then he can the qualifying offer is going to be around $22 million this year.
No, I'm talking about the trade deadline.
Yeah, but no, the reason why like when the Giants didn't trade Madison Bumgarner, words Sam, let's say them, in 2019, part of it is they wanted to keep Bum along with Bochy, but the other part of it was the belief was they could extend to him a qualifying offer going to free agency. When he signs another team, they get draft pick compensation for him. And the belief was that draft pick compensation is going to be equal to whatever the player they would get in a trade. That will not apply for Robbie Ray. Robbie will not get a qualifying offer. There will be no draft pick compensation attached to him. So he's absolutely gone. Elliot Ramos, I think you got to move off of him too, just to relieve some log jams there as well. If you move those 4 guys, extend Arias, I'm willing to run back with Buster.
Or you can extend Arraez.
If you can move off those other two infielders first. If you can't find takers for Rafi and Willie, you're going to have to bite the bullet and make the unfun choice or unfun move of trading Luis Arraez. And that's going to suck, but that's just the reality of the situation. So Buster can turn this around. The farm system is getting better under him. And I do think Buster's going to put more of a...
So you can turn it around by correcting his mistakes. Is that what you're saying?
You don't want to be in this situation.
Got it.
But right now, yes, I would give Buster the chance to at least clean this up a little bit. And if he can't do that, then you're going to have much more difficult conversations at the end of the year.
Well, who's going to fire him, considering he's ownership?
Well, they're not going to fire him in terms of like, your key card doesn't work, you can't come into the ballpark anymore. It would probably be more of it'll be termed as a reassignment, or my guess is he would come out and say, I'm stepping down from the role. So they'll play it off as he's stepping down or stepping back or whatever, when it's a firing without saying that you're fired. He's not going to be banished from the ballpark or anything like that.
I think between the two, if you're telling me, is it Vitello, or you're asking me if it's Vitello or Buster Posey, I think you know how I feel about Vitello. There is no reason that this guy should come back. He has shown me nothing as to why he should be a major league manager, certainly at the San Francisco Giants. Buster Posey, for whatever reason, I think that the fact that he was so aggressive in trying to turn this team around and make changes and they haven't worked out, there's risk involved in that. And I understand that. And it's not gone his way, but I do give him some credit for at least getting out there and trying to make the change, as opposed to someone like that of what it is we saw over the last 6 years with Farhan, who would just sort of sit complacently and just let things, he wouldn't change things. So I'm willing to give him a little bit more leeway, at least another year, but I don't have the same sentiment when it comes to Vitello. I think Vitello's got to go. But do we lose him? Where'd Pasta go?
He is answering a phone call right now.
Had tremendous insight today. I thought we'd go to him.
Ann Killian joined Willard and Dibbs the other day after Buster Posey's press conference in the dugout that did not go very well. And I think, Dan, to your point, you bring up a point that she kind of got into, is just like, I do think that he thought that he could make this team really, really good, really, really fast. I think he thought that this team was further along in its development than
I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, what I think happened is he realized, I've said this before, he bit into this team and realized, oh crap, I bit into a bad apple. And he misevaluated this. Maybe someone who's been in this job for a lot longer, I'm going to throw a random name out there that would never be in this situation, but Dave Dombrowski washed up on the shores here of McCovey Cove and took over the Giants job a couple years ago. I don't think Dombrowski's looking at this roster saying, yeah, they're a couple players away. I think Buster really wanted to believe that this team was a couple players away and tried to steer things in that direction and ignored the reality, or maybe didn't see the reality. I don't know if this is a lesson learned or a situation where Buster's in over his head. Ann Killian joined Willard and Dibbs the other day, and even she's expressing doubts now on Buster's capability to do this job.
I've always thought so until yesterday, and now I'm not sure. I mean, I've known Buster Posey since he was introduced in that very same dugout after he got drafted in 2008. He came in there in 2010. I was around that team all the time. A professional, mature beyond his years, cool in every situation. He was rattled. He was shaky. He was irritated. He was nervous. He looked like he was surprised. Like, I'm sorry. If he's surprised, he's not reading the room. He came off as tone deaf. His statement about, differing perspectives sound very both sidesy, which, I mean, it probably did more damage to his reputation than this disastrous season and everything that's happened since he's been the president of baseball ops. I was really surprised, because that was not the Buster Posey that I have been accustomed to seeing for getting close to 2 decades now. I mean, I was a little surprised.
I think a lot of us believe that because Buster has the baseball acumen, that he would just slide into this job and it would work out really, really well. Shasky and Keith Law got into a back and forth last year when Keith Law kind of expressed skepticism over why Buster would jump in on the Rafi Devers deal. And we since had Keith Law back on, and Shas like, sorry, man, you were right, which, neither here nor there. But it just kind of goes to show we all had this belief here that, well, it's Buster. And I think that's in a part what the Giants, as an ownership group, wanted us to think. Well, it's Buster. Of course he'll figure it out. He has the golden touch. But as we've seen with a lot of players, Dan, and there's the reason why only 5 teams employ former players as executives. Just because you're a player doesn't mean you have the aptitude to build a roster.
No, it's 2 entirely different animals.
You know, that's part. And the 5 teams, you get Buster Posey, Craig Breslow with the Red Sox. That's not going really well right now. Chris Young with the Rangers. Had that 1 year, but that's not really going well right now. Jerry Dipoto with the Mariners. Yeah, he's pretty solid, but the Mariners, they're still not quite there yet, but they had a pretty good team. Jerry Dipoto, good, though. He is pretty good. And Chris Getz with the Chicago White Sox, he's actually turning things around. So of the 5 former players who are running baseball teams right now, 40% of them can say that they're having success. Giants, unfortunately, they're not in that 40%.
I would say overwhelmingly the majority of successful general managers or president of baseball ops, I always say this, are guys that come out of Ivy League colleges, guys that are bean counters. You're talking about guys like Neander from Baltimore. You're talking about all of these other guys, Friedman. These are guys that are well-educated, that do it. It's not about your baseball acumen as a player. It's about your acumen in terms of so many different things, the minutia that goes into this, and thinking about things that are 3 steps ahead. This is an entirely different sort of skill set that's required to be successful at this level. And so what it is that you did on the field or between the lines, to me, has no carryover. And when you look at all of these guys who are successful, that's not the pedigree. So I don't know what the Giants were thinking at the time. I was pretty vocal here on the air when they made the hire. I was on the air that day, and I didn't think it would work out. And here we are, a year and a half removed, and it's heading in the wrong direction.
Let's go to Sean in Fremont here. He's got some thoughts on the Giants. Sean, how you doing this morning, man? You're on the Wrap.
I'm doing good. I like how you guys, every Saturday morning, I know you guys are going to get into it and all things Giants. And yeah, I can actually completely agree on Vitello as far as, like, he's in over his head. And I think he's, at the end of the year, if they finish like 20 under, you're telling me you're going to bring Vitello back? The difference with going straight from college to the pros, like, it's, are you a better recruiter than you are a baseball coach? Actually, you're talking about high-level baseball, completely different game. Wooden bats. Right, the game changed. Like, you understand, at Tennessee, 50% to 60% of the teams they played had less talent than them. It's not like that in major leagues. So the other thing is, I wouldn't just dump Ramos. I understand the fire sale mentality, but he's only 26, still has club control, back-to-back 20 homer seasons. That's my thoughts on Ramos, but I appreciate you guys.
Oh, hey, Sean, really quick. I want to ask you a follow-up on Ramos. Just what do you think is going to be the better version of Elia Ramos? The version we've seen the last 2 years, or the version we're going to see over the next 2 years?
Well, I just wouldn't. You're going to sell low on him right now. He's coming off the eye. You're going to sell low on a 26-year-old.
That's a good point.
That's fair. He still has room to grow. That's my point on him. He still has room to grow. Devers, you're going to have to eat some money on Devers if you want a decent prospect.
I agree with you there, Sean. Thanks for the call, Sean. Really appreciate it. We're getting up against it here.
Getting to your point when you said, Vitello would be more successful if it was a younger roster. Essentially what it is that you're saying in a roundabout.
No. I don't say it would be more successful. I think that would be a better fit for him to better have. I don't want to say, like, if he had this kind of roster, he would definitely have these results. I think it would have been a better fit for him. But then again, as I say that, I also think, again, throw him on a team like the Royals or the Angels, like a small market team that expectations are lower, that's in a rebuild, instead of thrusting him into a big market team where the expectation with these big name contracts is win right away. I don't know if this was the best full-on situation for him to come into. So right away, he's behind the 8 ball.
Well, essentially what it is, the way I interpret that when you talk about him inheriting a team that is younger, it has guys who are in their early 20s, essentially what you're saying is you're sort of echoing what it is that I feel is that he's a college manager.
Yeah.
Like, he's good with younger players. There is not, you can give me the youngest roster, whether it's the White Sox or whomever, Major League Baseball. There's some veterans on that team. Mm-hmm. There's some veterans that have key roles. So at some point, even with a young roster, you're going to have to deal with seasoned guys, which he looks as though he has no idea how to handle that relationship.
I think he's better at it with some than others, but you got to be with all of them. And, like, I do think that guys like Matt Chapman and Logan Webb, they're, for whatever bumps they've had this season, like I can see those being guys who are like, you know what, I want to try and get behind Tony on this one here, but it's been a frustrating go here in this first season. We'll wrap things up on the wrap on the other side. 30 minutes to go. Sam Lum alongside Dan Devone. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. And we'll wrap up the show on the other side. Brought to you by Fremont Bank. Here for you, here for good.
Hey, it's Willard and Dibbs for Safeway. Enjoy these amazing deals for members, and as always, save up to 20% weekly on hundreds of exclusive offers from Safeway. Just clip the highlighted deals from the weekly mailer or click the deals in the For You section of the Safeway app to breeze through checkout. Visit Safeway in-store to play their Centennial Shuffle all week long for a chance to win a free item. Mix and match signature select chicken, drumsticks, or thighs value packs, or buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. And I need some side dishes for this protein.
You can mix and match juicy 1-pound strawberries with 6-ounce blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries are just $2.99 each when you buy 3. Plus, clip or click Lucerne shredded, sliced, or chunk cheese, 6 to 8 ounce selected varieties for just $1.99 each. Limit 4 items.
Safeway makes it very easy for you to save money on the items you already buy. Go to Safeway.com for more details, and we will see you in the aisles.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
From carriage house to glass aluminum doors, R&S Doors has a full line of commercial and residential garage doors and gates to suit anyone's taste and budget. Visit rsdoors.com. R&S Doors. Look for the red truck.
If you're still using a sports book to bet on the soccer tournament, you're getting robbed. Delete that app and join the millions using Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. Trade against other fans, not the house. Polymarket, your go-to prediction market for soccer's biggest stage. Available in all 50 states. Download the Polymarket app. Use promo code BLAZE to unlock $50 free for your first trade. That's promo code BLAZE. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
If life is a game to be won, then every child deserves to play on a level field. Children International is empowering young people in poverty on their journey by giving them the tools, the training, and the skills to shape their own futures. From the early days of development through all stages of growth and into employment. This is how, together, we can help end poverty for good. Learn more at children.org.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Now back to the best Giants talk in the Bay. The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling. Doesn't usually happen at Giants games, though. I've been at so many games this year that they've lost. Maybe lost track
part of the reason.
I might be, but such as it is, I'm still going to keep going. Because that's all you can do as a fan, Dan. Just
can I ask you a
pick yourself
question?
up and keep going. Only if I can give you an answer.
About the hair?
About the what?
Hair?
Hair? Oh, absolutely.
At what point will you cut your hair at any point in the near future? Or when do you make this decision?
I have no plans to.
That's
but
awesome.
At some point, I just figure I'm going to keep growing it out until I get tired of it, and I have yet to get tired of it. I enjoy it a lot.
So you're like, we mentioned Forrest Gump earlier. Remember Forrest Gump would just run and all of a sudden he just stopped.
Had the long hair. Yeah, no, one of these days they're like,
he just like, yeah, I don't want to.
I'm kind of tired. I think I'm going to stop now.
Yeah,
I'm start growing my hair out. Yeah, I want to see how long I can get it before I get tired of it. And,
how long there's got to be, how long will it go?
I don't know. Right now, this is as long as it has been right now. Like it's.
Are you like Rapunzel?
It's not quite the longest it's been. Last year, it was maybe an inch or two longer than it's at right now. It got really, really long last year. And I trimmed it back.
It was longer last year?
And I trimmed it back a little bit. Yeah, you got to trim it back every now and then. And the last haircut I got last September, she took off a little bit more than I kind of wanted her to. The person who I go to, my mom set me up with her hairstylist. Because there gets to a point when you're growing your hair out, you don't go get haircuts anymore. You don't just go to your normal barber shop and get a haircut. You got to go to a hairstylist who's able to do a more, probably meticulous haircut, I guess. I don't know if meticulous is the right word, but so yeah, you get different kinds of hair.
Are there women that are envious of your hair?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
Wow.
I enjoy it a lot. You know who I'm always envious of?
Wait, real quick, before you make this awesome transition. When you do cut it and you come in the 95.7 The Game in the morning,
breaking news sounder?
No, you cannot say anything to anybody. No warning ahead of time. It's just got to happen naturally.
Absolutely. No, the day it happens, I'm not giving any heads up.
Oh, but when he cuts it, you only trim it by an inch or two. Are you talking about doing a complete
overall? I do the full-on.
Oh, you will? Okay.
There's going to come a day, if I'm still working at this station and it happens, absolutely, I'm not giving any heads up. I'm just going to walk in one day and, I'm always the first one in every morning. So what's going to happen is I'll be sitting in the producer studio, typing away, setting the station up as I do every morning. And Carter will walk in and he'll be like, oh my God, you cut your hair. Oh, I love it, cut his hair. And then Spadoni will come and it's like, oh, Sammy, you cut your hair. And then Chassis will come in and I don't know what he'll say, but he'll probably be like, Doggy, you cut your hair.
How different are you?
The future. I'm pouring wet. There you go. That's probably what he'll say. But, hey, Dan, what's popping? I said because we got Mitch on the line. Mitch in New Jersey, what's popping?
What's popping? What's cracking? How you guys doing?
It's going good, Mitch. How's it cracking with you?
It's all good. All right, trying to lose a few pounds here in the gym.
Hell yeah.
I think I'm delaying, postponing, procrastinating.
What machine are you on right now?
Yeah, I'd rather talk to you now.
What machine are you on right now?
Leg machine.
On the leg machine,
leg
right?
machine.
Leg press.
I've always had skinny legs. I don't know what you call it.
Hey, Mitchie.
Doesn't skip leg day.
Do you have any of the pretty little fillies out there? The women, do they look at you as you're working out? Is there any sort of eye contact? Any sort of weird tension going on there? Do you guys check each other out in the gym?
I think during the summer here, I think the people, the school people, the school kids.
Oh God!
I am not getting my.
Mitch, let's talk about the Giants here. What do you got on the Giants?
They're in better shape than me and the Giants. Well, first of all, Schmidt and Ash Eldridge are untouchables. What's taking so long to start trading our veterans? These Devers overpay. Adamas, send them away. Just start trading. Get some more price. Webb is okay. I like Jack Webb. He's cool. And what about Scooble is on the market? So is Corey Seager. And I'm sure eventually Skenis from the Pirates is going to be on the market unless they can fix. And it's not a strike. It's a lockout. It's the owners. They're the ones They're the ones that have to fix it. Otherwise, there'll be no next season. There won't be a season next year. But I don't know. We're tanking. We're not even trying too hard to tank. So I don't know whose prospect is going to be delayed. I don't think it's going to be a Bob Horner come up this year. Gotta start trading. If I make any sense, I don't know if I'm making sense here. What is taking so long? I don't think firing the manager. Bob Horner, you remember him?
The ASU.
Mike Trout.
Yeah, Bob Horner, third baseman. Didn't he have the last 5 home run game? 4 home run. No, he had 2 4-home-run games, I think. He had the last 4 home run games, I think, yeah.
No, he didn't need any minor leagues. He's like LeBron. Didn't need any college ball. Mike Trout and Harper, they were kept in the minors too long, in my opinion. But we got to start dismantling this team, and it's not the manager. I think the manager's okay. It's his first time. It's not panic like the Mets have. You see what the Phillies have done. They turn around with Donnie Boy. But,
yeah,
firing the manager's not the answer.
Well, you're right, because the Phillies, they got rid of their manager, and he comes in, to steal your phrase, Donnie Boy, and they've turned it around. They're like 4 games behind the Braves.
Yeah, well, that's a completely, different roster with a better bullpen. So, yeah, that's the situation.
You got anything else?
Even the Knicks eventually won something after 53 years, but hopefully the Giants won't go that long.
Hey, Mitch, you into the World Cup?
Not at all.
Jeez.
Mitch, you brought up Tarek Skubal. Were you insinuating the Giants should be in on Tarek Skubal?
Yeah, he was.
Why not?
I don't know if they're in a position I don't know if they're in a position to be giving away prospects right now, Mitch.
Well, I don't think the Tigers have a lot of leverage because he's going to walk for free. They don't want to do what the Angels did.
Well, no, the Tigers are gonna trade Tarek Skubal. It's just that they're not gonna trade him to the orange and black team. I don't want to say what team he's gonna get traded to because it's gonna ruin everybody's day, but he is gonna get traded. I do want to answer your question, though, Mitch. You brought up why aren't we trading the veterans yet, and that's because, simply put, teams like to wait until the deadline to make those kind of moves. That's just how the business works.
That's right. And you said, well, one thing about the World Cup, though. I hope you think this makes sense. Why is it a World Cup when there's not world peace? It's just too much going on. There's too much sadness going on. It's really
yeah, that's you're right on that one, Mitch. Thanks for the call, Mitch. Appreciate it. Can't have World Cup because there's no world peace.
What if Iran?
Skinny legs.
What if Iran played the United States in the finals?
Oh, I want that so bad. Oh my God! First block shot that Iran has. That's their second best block of the year.
Wow!
They call it the $300 billion game or match, I guess.
This was not one of Mitch's best calls, by the way. He can't go near schools anymore.
A rough start. Yeah, he's one of those guys. Yeah.
Hey, Tony Vitello, we're 81 games in. How would you assess the season at the halfway point?
Capable of doing anything. I felt like tonight would have been one of our best wins of the year going into the game if we could have won it, just because there's been enough hours between yesterday and today, but it's kind of the one last category of a box we need to check of coming off a little bit of heartbreak, coming back the next day and punching back or whatever you want to call it. But we've had comeback wins. We've had Terang up with the tying run at third, 1 out. We've come back from a big margin. We've had walk-offs. We've had good road wins, good home wins. So capable of doing anything. But now we're reaching a part of the season where you got to have a little bit more sense of urgency. And like I said, at least for me and the conversations I've had with folks, everything's day to day for me, and just got to look for any area we can improve, even if it's just an inch, even if it's just looking at a couple of those runner and scoring position at bats or communicating on a play or anything else that you could come up with.
So that was Tony Vitello after the game last night.
That used to be cute back in the day. A couple of months ago, it's sort of like, yeah, he's optimistic, and he sounds like an absolute coconut who fell off the turnip truck.
Well, this is, if I were to give a critique of Tony Vitello, it is that I would like him to be more, I guess, maybe raw with this team. And Carter and I were talking about last week, like we would like to see him call guys out more, but he has been doing that. And that's where we get in. That's where the whole comments of he's managing scared pops up. He wants to keep an upbeat attitude. He wants to look on the bright side. I get that. It's a very generous usage of the word capable there. But the reality is, Dan, like, is this team capable of being better? In theory, yes. This lineup, I think, should be a lineup with a better record than what they have. This pitching rotation is, well, now that Webb and Ray are pitching well again, and Landon Roop's had 2 solid starts in a row, Trevor McDonald is okay. Like, the rotation is a rotation that should be on a better team, that should be that of a better team. This bullpen is a black hole of misery and just sadness.
It's the worst bullpen ever.
In their first 40 games of the year, Dan, this team was 16-24. That is a 65 win pace. In the 41 games they have played since then, they are 17-24. That's a 67 win pace. They are a 66-96 team, basically, all year long. There is no hot stretch that they've had that you can point to. This team is very much a product of their record and what they are. I don't know how you could sugarcoat anything about this other than the fact this is a team that has underperformed at best, is incapable of going on any sort of prolonged run more than 3 games.
Do you know who Don Zimmer is?
Yeah, former Yankees coach who got thrown to the ground by Pedro.
If Tony...
among other things.
Tony Vitello looked like Don Zimmer, because Don Zimmer's a former manager. I think he managed the Cubs. If he looked like Don Zimmer, and I invite everybody to look up Don Zimmer. If he looked like Don Zimmer, sort of out of shape, funny-looking face, with that, that military cut.
The round head, yeah, the dude had some cheeks on him.
Yeah, if he looked like Don Zimmer and was doing the exact same thing, exact same one-loss record, managing the exact same way, we would be calling for this dude's skull.
I would push back on that because Gabe Kapler had people calling for his head for quite a while, and he was also a very good-looking guy. So I don't know if it goes that deep with it. I think Giants fans do see the fact that Tony's in a no-win situation. I think they can understand the nuance. Now, that doesn't mean that Tony's the right option. You could say that it's not Tony's fault, but he's not the solution either. I think that's a very fair take to have.
I think that this dude is getting a pass, and I don't understand why.
I don't know if it's a pass more, if it's just recognizing that there's just worse things.
But
if he had
part of the problem.
If he had last year's bullpen and they still are looking like this, then yeah, I think he's not getting as much of a pass. But he just wasn't given a good team. Like, Dan, if I gave you a bag of sticks and rocks and said, bake me a cake, can I get mad at you if you don't bake me a cake?
Is there anything about his personality that instills some sort of confidence or provides any sense of professionalism, or a guy that you feel as though is going to be a leader for years to come? He seems just like what it is that I've said all along. He is who he is, and that is a college manager who is pretty successful. Hey, Pasta, when you get a chance, no more Oswald Bates. Let's just hear some Gomer Pyle. Or if you can find a clip from Forrest Gump, that's who he is. He's Gomer Pyle.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
No, that's Mitch.
That's Forrest Mitch.
I've always had the skinny legs. School kids.
Time out. Come on. Whoa, Mitchie.
But I don't think it's just he looks good. I do think that there is just more nuance on just.
It's because you're not aware of it. Like, is this? Like,
I think I'm pretty aware of it. I'm there a lot. I see what's going on around this team. Listen, you asked what he brings to the
introspective. I give you that.
You asked what he brings to the team. I do think that what he's trying to bring.
But wait a minute,
this
is like it's taking you about 2.5 hours to come up with something because I asked this a long time ago.
No, what he's been kind of saying it, but no, what he's bringing to the team, he's trying to bring a new energy and culture to this team and shake off whatever doldrums this team had last year. As far as what he brings in-game intellect, stuff like that, I think we're still trying to figure out what that is. I do. And halfway through the year, maybe we should know, possibly. But again, yeah, you're asking what he brings. I think a lot of what he was supposed to bring was intangibles. I think that was what they expected from this team. That's what I thought that this team needed, was just a swift kick in the pants instead of a guy saying, yeah, we got to go back out there tomorrow, unfortunately. Instead, he's going to just bring more fire, more energy to this clubhouse. That has not worked, and I don't think that he really knows what buttons to push now to get a better boost out of this team than he's been able to get.
I think they overreached. They went from Bob Melvin and said, well, we need energy. Yeah, exactly. What do you got, Pasta?
Well, I was just going to say, I think Sean in Fremont had the point, and I told Devone this before, about a big part of Tony Vitello's job at Tennessee and a big part of every college coach's job is the recruitment aspect. And he's a world-class recruiter, and that means spending the holidays on the road and going to a kid's, house and kitchen and spending time with the family, getting to know the family, getting to convince them and convince the department to throw money at them and saying that Tennessee's the best fit. And he was stripped of that power once he got into professional baseball. The manager doesn't have to recruit draft picks anymore. Free agency's a lot different. I don't think Tony Vitello is necessarily a sell to someone like Kyle Tucker. So a big part of his superpower and what made him appealing, I think, at Tennessee, he just doesn't have anymore. So I think that needs to be taken into account as well.
That is a
Pasta
good point.
coming strong.
That is a good point. And I
Want
think
to sit here, Pasta?
to your point, though, Dan, as far as the infield X's and O's, the in-game X's and O's, though, it's hard to find a plus right now. I do like when he kind of gives his starters a chance to kind of get that extra out or go that extra inning and show that belief in him. I do think he's very good at showing belief in his players. I think he's very good at kind of wanting to fight for and go to bat for his players. How much that matters in the grand scheme of things, though, I guess that is debatable. But right now, yeah, it's hard to find redeeming qualities of Tony Vitello 81 games in a season that's just been so absolutely miserable. But when I have a hard time pointing at Tony when Willy Adames is the one who's putting in lackluster fielding efforts at times. It's hard for me to point at Tony Vitello when Rafi Devers isn't running out pop flies, or when Rafi Devers just going through month-long slumps and pouting on the base paths and waving off pinch runners. Like these are so many things that have just kind of gotten so blown out of just control here. And maybe that is a part of just Tony in the inexperience not wanting to seize control of this team like I think a lot of people want him to.
Yeah, and the inexperience is something that, again, I think that there are so many candidates, especially when it comes to Major League Baseball, that you didn't have to do this.
Yes.
You didn't have to get a guy who
especially when Buster himself is so inexperienced. Too.
And when you're allowing somebody to learn on the job, are you kidding me? That's not what we do at the Major Leagues. And
not in a big league market like
this.
This
isn't about, well, he's got a learning curve. No, man, you've got to come in and it's plug and play. I'm sorry. And he ain't that guy. And I don't know if he'll ever get there. But I would not. There's no way in hell I would roll him back out there next year and then say, you know what? In the middle of next season, should there be baseball next year? Oh, Tony Vitello's just like, it ain't happening. I can tell you right now, just listening to the guy, he does not have the personality. That's what this comes down to. It's what kind of dude are you? What kind of guy are you? And you listen to him, and you're like, yeah, go back to the SEC. That does not translate.
What would he have needed to say last night after 81 games for you to be like, you know what? All right, now you're being real.
Not that. Yeah. Not that. I don't know what, but not that.
Yeah, and when he said that in that moment, I was just like, again, just capable of doing anything is just not the word that I would use. And again, you're trying to put out a front. You're trying to, polish up a turd, so to speak. I get that. There is a level, and this is, again, my biggest frustration with Tony off the field is I would like him to hold his players a little bit more accountable when he talks to the media. Steve Kerr does it all the time. Kyle Shanahan does it all the time. Those are two coaches that Tony should absolutely be trying to emulate because those are two coaches who are very good at what they do. I would say the biggest kind of, failure of Tony's tenure so far is that I just don't feel like he's taken that full-on control of the clubhouse that you would like to see from a manager. And maybe you got to retinker the roster around him to give him that second chance if you want to give him that second chance.
Yeah, that you're sort of contradicting yourself. That's you either have that in the gene pool and the DNA or you don't. Like being able to take over a locker room and being authoritative, it's either you can do that or it's not something that you learn, I don't believe. Again, this just comes down to personality traits. And that's how managers
I think there's going to be moments where it all starts to click in. Like when he left Logan Webb in a couple weeks ago, and everyone gave him an ovation for it. It seemed like that was a moment where Tony made a mistake earlier in the week. He corrected it, and it seemed like, okay, now we can get rolling here. But then everything else happens with Rafi afterwards, and it kind of undoes all of that there. He's had moments where you think he's taken that step forward, and it just hasn't happened. And what you've gotten is a very dysfunctional product here. I want to believe that he can turn it around. I do believe that he has the kind of personality that can win over a clubhouse. This clubhouse, I don't know. That's why I think maybe, again, if he was on a smaller market team or a younger team that doesn't have as many established players, that would have been easier for him. That's where I could see him being in a situation where, yeah, he could succeed as a big league manager. The reason why it's not so much giving Tony Vitello a pass, it's more so just acknowledging that if he's in a situation that he's just not cut out to be in, it's kind of hard for me to get mad at him. That doesn't mean that he's the right answer. It just means that I think we said he may not be the problem, but when he's not the solution either, you're in this weird kind of no man's land with him where you want to think, well, maybe there is a solution within the Giants that can work for him. You don't want to give up too soon. But at the same time, there gets to a point, and he kind of said at the end of that cut here, the urgency starts to ratchet up here, and he's saying everything's day-to-day. I don't know what he means by day-to-day, by the way.
Nobody knows what the hell he's talking about.
That is the problem. And those things are starting to get, they're wearing it. Again, I want to see it out the rest of this year and see how the full season plays out.
It's only going to get worse.
Probably, yeah. It might not. Probably will, but it might not.
He just does not have...
I want to see what this team looks like on August 4th, the day after the deadline.
Yeah,
if this team looks very similar now as it does then, or then as it does now, then I think, the writing's on the wall. You'll be right. I'll have been wrong to have put the faith in Tony.
Sam, a major league manager, or any coach at the professional level just does not sound like this guy. It's not that he's saying anything wrong. It's just like he does not have the personality to lead young men. I can just see it, man. You can just hear him. And the way he talks.
Well, he showed some personality to be able to lead young men. I mean, you have to have some sort of baseball expertise and knowledge to have success in the SEC.
Okay, to lead men, rather, at the major league level. He just does not have it. I can listen to the dude, and I can just tell you that ain't the guy, man. And I'm not even going after him for all the blatant mistakes he's made as a field manager. I'm just telling you as a guy, that's just not it. And it's getting to the point now with him quoting from the movies, he just sounds so out of place. It's Gomer Pyle trying to manage the San Francisco Giants in 2026.
I think he's trying to diffuse situations there.
What do you need to do with Rafael Devers? He should have done again at Pat Murphy. He needed to get. He needed
a nip in the bud, right? And that is where again,
he should have just simply said, "We do not tolerate that."
Yeah. He should have.
That was embarrassing. This is the San Francisco Giants. You don't do that, and you're benched for a game or two or what have you.
He could have done that to Willie Adames back in L.A. when he forgot the amount of. That was if he had benched Willie the next day. Then, I think his Q rating goes up. I absolutely agree. He has had a chance to up his Q rating and I think take charge there, and he hasn't. And that's probably been the biggest disappointment this year is the opportunities he's had that have gone by the wayside there. Fortunately, has not worked out for him. I want to believe, Dan, maybe it's the delusional Giants fan in me, but that's what we love about the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. We're a show of delusional fans for all the other delusional fans out there. And then there's you, the voice of reason.
Well, we still have Dalton Rushing you can pick if.
Dalton Rushing, really quick. If I'm Shohei Ohtani, I'm requesting a trade. Get me off that team. I do not want to be around that absolute cancer that is Dalton Rushing.
Wasn't that hilarious?
I am bursting into Andrew Freeman's office if I'm Shohei, and I'm saying, trade me to an American League team on the East Coast.
Oh, you mean trade him?
If I'm Shohei, I am requesting a trade.
No, he's never going to leave it.
It's kind of like the Draymond Green, Jordan Poole situation. In this situation, Shohei is Jordan Poole, Dalton Rushing is Draymond Green.
No, what I could see him saying, get Dalton Rushing out of town. I didn't see him.
Well, no, what is that going to solve?
Well, did you see what Dalton Rushing did?
He pissed off Shohei because he wouldn't challenge pitches or something.
Yeah, and also the pitches that he was calling.
Yeah.
And Shohei took that little monitor from him. So I'm calling him. I mean, it was bad. They got really bad. I think I was crossing up. They were on the same page.
And he's going to marry himself, that guy, for the next 10 years of his career or however many years he has left with that team? No. If I'm Shohei, I want off that team right now. That's the only logical solution I can think of.
Well, he's still the backup catcher.
They just can't be teammates together. It just doesn't work out anymore. So the only option you have is to trade Shohei. It's just, hey, Dan, I don't make the rules. I just, make them up as I go. This has been a fun edition of the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Dan, thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you for everyone who called in. Stephen Risotto, good job there. Hey, maybe today's the day that fresh 81 games. We'll turn it around and everything will be all hunky dory, and then it'll rain
hunky
candy
dory.
cans.
That's something to look forward to. I'm sure that's going to be coming out of the pie hole of one Tony Vitello pretty soon.
Oh, hey, they're capable of anything. So, thanks for all that guy, Brandon Ayuk. Oof. Anyway, Dodgers suck.
Later, dudes. Let it rip. Hang 10.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into video only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Hey, it's Dan Dibley. The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every match from the opening stage all the way to the final, and you can even trade on who wins the whole thing. And right now, Argentina is trading at 14% to win the entire thing. And if you put $100 in your trade, that would net a $642 payout. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the